get this going, and then I got to play the rest of the stuff because I don't want to get in trouble. The opinions you're about to hear on this show are strictly those of the panel.
Today's digital landscape with the spread of false information can lead to dangerous outcomes. It's crucial for everyone to think critically and verify sources and reflect on the impact of what they share. Let's promote responsible communication to ensure that truth prevails and actions remain rooted in reality.
The following program is rated TV MA-LSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Okay, there we go. Hopefully I covered all my bases. Sorry about that. I just got this little notice that popped up and said, you are not it's not working on YouTube because it's been deleted. And I'm like, oh, great. But it's a shit show. I mean, that's the way it's supposed to be, I guess. Well, it's just me. Again, apparently people don't like talking about politics. I don't understand that. To me, it's important that we know what's going on in the world and stay informed about what's going on and get as much information out there as possible so other people can make informed decisions in their life. So I don't know. I just don't understand. Maybe it's because I'm a military brat. That I think it's important that we stay up on politics as much as possible, especially because, it's going to affect us sooner or later because it always comes back to your house. But, it seems like a lot of people just, want to bitch and moan about it, but they don't want to do anything. They don't want to sign up to work the polls. They don't want to pass out flyers. They don't want to make phone calls. They don't want to vote. They don't want to do anything, but then they bitch when everything's expensive or the wrong person got voted in as a judge or a sheriff or a mayor. People complaining now. I'm hearing all these people complaining about New York, and it's roads aren't getting fixed. They're not getting plowed, problems in California, blah, blah, blah. And all that's coming to your state. Because when the people get sick of the crap there, they move to your state and they vote the same way they did to make their state crappy. And you're doing nothing to make sure that you still have control of your towns. So I just don't understand why you think that griping online, on Facebook or Snapchat or Instagram or any of these things or X is going to help you in any way unless you get off your ass and do something about it. I mean, I don't know, but that's why I do what I'm doing. I like to do this because I think it's important that we know what's going on, things that are happening around in your country and in other countries that could possibly come to your country. Because if it's happening there, it could happen to your town. But if you don't like politics, I guess you don't tune in. Go watch the Super Bowl. Go watch Bad Bunny. Go watch, people swimming or people throwing darts or whatever. If whatever is interesting to you, go do it and enjoy yourself, I guess. If you work hard, I guess you deserve to have a night off and not worry about whether or not, your price of gas is going to go up next week. I mean, I don't know. But the first thing I wanted to start off with tonight just came across my timeline a little while ago. And I was kind of like, wow, when I saw it, because I hadn't realized it. But I'm going to make it bigger. It's one of the terrorists from Benghazi that Trump, it says I'm gonna make it smaller. It says Trump stuns the world by bringing the leader of the Benghazi attack to America. finally justice for what Hillary Clinton did. Now, I remember back when it happened, and she was given the stand down order and stuff. And I was told the reason that they didn't want anybody to do anything is because they didn't want the Stinger missiles found that we supposedly handed over to the other side, for money, for cash or whatever. And that would prove that, it was ours. And a lot of things with the whole, a lot of things that's been going on over there, I think it had a lot to do with us giving the other side our ammo and weapons and stuff, just like what happened when Biden just left all our stuff there, because they're handing over all the weapons so that they can use them against us in a terrorist attack or whatever, or kill other people in other countries with our weapons to make us look bad. Because anything they can do to taint America, to make us look like we're a bunch of idiots and that we just want to hurt people because we love guns and we love our Second Amendment, they're going to do. And the left hates us. They hate that we have rights. They hate that we speak out and that we stand up for ourselves. They don't like that. And they want us to shut the fuck up. So that's why they do this stupid shit. But I'm going to play this real quick and see what it's about. Hey, buddy. Thank you for stopping in. Good. I hope he's willing to cry and whine and tell us everything he knows, so that maybe we can see somebody brought to justice for whatever really happened over there, and why we had soldiers over there ready to help Stevens and the others at the embassy, and our government told them to stand down. So why, why did all those people have to die? I'd like to have some answers. Hopefully this guy's got a few. And hopefully they can keep him safe, because it seems like anyone who finds any tidbit of information on the Clintons seem to just disappear or get shot in the back of the head twice because they commit suicide or something. It just seems awful weird how it always seems like there's a mile-long list of suicides or car accidents and sudden deaths associated with anyone that has any dirt on the Clintons. And the fact that they don't even show up and they're in contempt of Congress and nothing's happening to them. It's like, look at me. I can do whatever they want. Fuck you. You're just peons. You're beneath us. And we're the Clintons, blah, blah, blah. They did the same thing to all the people in Arkansas. When Hillary Clinton said, I never saw the Whitewater documents. I never did anything. And as soon as she's in the White House, they find her fingerprints on the Whitewater documents. Nothing happened. She has a illegal server in her bathroom, and she's sending all kinds of shit on her BlackBerry. Nothing happens. It's like, whatever. So, I guess Hillary Clinton is right. You're a piece of shit, and she's queen of the day, and she can do whatever she wants. So until something starts happening, that's how people feel. I mean, that's how I feel. And I would like to see somebody held accountable for all this criminal activity. I mean, how do you stop criminals? How do you stop pedophiles? How do you stop any of these people if nobody goes to jail? If everybody just gets this bad. We see what happens with kids when you do that at the grocery store, laying on the ground, slobbering and throwing a fit because they want a toy or something that mom won't buy them because she doesn't have the money or whatever. And we all go, oh, what a brat. And we all get mad and walk off. But we're raising these. And now they're adults. We've got adults that act like that, throwing tantrums at McDonald's because they didn't get enough French fries or their drink wasn't enough or whatever it is. And they just throw food and do all kinds of stuff. People are just spoiled, rotten brats running around, and we're doing it. We're setting it up for people. Hey, let's just screw everyone else's day because I didn't get what I wanted. Fuck everyone else because I'm better. It's just pathetic. And we got nothing but a bunch of narcissists running around. But, oh well, I guess that's the way it's supposed to be. I don't know. I don't know what else to say. It just seems like we're screwed. We're supposed to be screwed, I guess. But I would say hi to a few people in the chat. I wanted to say hi to Jackie Blue. Thank you so much. She always stops in early to wish me good luck, and I really appreciate her. She never gets to stay that long because she works, but I really do thank the ones that have been supportive of me and trying to help me, see me do something, and have fun doing it. I'm not making any money or anything yet, so. And I probably never will, but I still like to do it because I want people to have choices and to see what's out there that's right there at your fingertips if you had the means to get it. And I want to say thank you to Lloyd. Thank you so much. You're such a doll. And let's see, it says, rest in peace to Vile Rat. Such a sad day. May he rest in peace. A great friend lost that day, if you know. Yeah, I know. You're talking about Benghazi. Yeah, the whole thing is a mess. The whole thing is a huge mess. And we knew it was a mess. Most Americans sitting there watching it unfold were like, what the fuck? This is fucked up. We're abandoning our people when we're supposed to be the strongest country in the world. To me, it doesn't make any sense. Oh, hi, Darren. Thank you for stopping in. Yeah, I hope there's already a shit ton of light. It's just the fact that they took all the bulbs out and hit them or smashed them on the ground so that we couldn't look clear enough. And the few people that did see things were either told, shut the fuck up, or something happened to you, or told that they were, Nazis, or you're racist, or whatever words or terminology they can stick on it. That's what they do, and it just pisses me off so bad. Because I have Black friends, I have Indian friends, I have Hispanic friends, I have white friends, I have friends from all over the world that I talk to every week, and I'm not racist. I've dated a few different races when I was in high school. I don't care what your skin color is or what your religion is or anything, as long as you don't try to force it on me. Just like I don't force my religion or my sex or anything on anyone else. I live my life. I should have the right to live my life, eat whatever food I want, get a job if I apply for it and they hire me. I should be able to keep my job as long as I'm performing and doing my job for my boss, and my boss is happy. Then it's nobody else's fucking business, and I don't care. It's same way for you. You should have the same rights as anyone else. And I don't care if you're way up there or you're down there. We all should be treated the same. You shouldn't be treated different simply because you have a few extra dollars in your pocket, or because your skin is a little different color, or you're a woman like me. I shouldn't get special treatment just because I'm a woman. You know what I mean? I mean, if I go in and try to get a job and I don't know shit about whatever it is I'm applying for, just because I want to sit and paint my nails, I can't answer the phone, I can't type, but I can sit here and look nice. I mean, that's bullshit. Nobody should get a damn job unless you're qualified for it. I don't care what sex you are or what your skin tone is. That kind of shit is bullshit. And that almost collapsed our country doing that shit. It almost got our president killed because they put people that are 5 foot tall to protect someone who's over 6 feet. I mean, it's just lack of common sense. It's repulsive. It should make every American taxpayer pissed because we look bad to other countries when we're this stupid and we just let it happen. It just makes us look like dumbasses. And I've had many of my friends from Europe from Canada and Australia tell me, wow, you guys look really stupid because we have a zombie in chief that looks like he can't walk, he can't do anything. He's just it's everybody can tell he's just a nothing, a puppet for some other people. And then all the stuff comes out with the pin, and it's just, we look like the laughing stock of the world. Basically, the United States looks like we're run by a bunch of idiots, and that us, the people that go to work every day and get our check to hand over 40% of it to the federal government and to our state for taxes, just say, oh, we'll just have to work harder and get in 10 more hours next week so we can pay more taxes. I mean, what is that? I mean, do we all have someone's hand up our ass making us talk? I mean, what happened to all the people I used to know that would say, fuck you, and leave, walk out on a job, walk out of a place that was treating you bad? I mean, if you go in and you order a $300 steak dinner for you and your family, and the food is shitty and the service is bad, are you going to still pay the bill? Are you still going to keep going back to that restaurant so they can treat you that way every time? I mean, what do you do? I just see all these people just shoveling it in and taking this shit over and over again and doing nothing. Just saying, well, I'm just not going to go there anymore. I don't want to ruffle feathers. Why the fuck not? It's your money. You're paying for a service. Just because a restaurant has hired a bunch of DEI hires and they don't know how to do anything doesn't mean you got to keep going to that establishment. Go fucking somewhere else where you get better treated, like you get treated like you deserve. I mean, if I owned a restaurant and everybody had walked out because everybody thought the food tastes like soap or whatever it was, I would be doing something going, what the fuck's going on with you people? And fire everyone, rehire people and train them. And if they didn't want the work, then get their ass out. Tell them to get the fuck out. If you don't want to be a waiter, don't apply for the job. Oh, just ridiculous to me. But I don't know. I just think that it sucks. I mean, all these idiots that we have so many rhinos. They've been in office for over a year and they haven't even got half of Trump's judges in. So we can't even prosecute people. As soon as we brought Comey in, look what happened. It's going to happen to all of them because we have so much corruption in our courts. And the one good thing that Trump has been doing is the pushing the whole thing about arresting people that are, child molesters, these child molesting rings, these trafficking rings, these drug rings, and all this kind of stuff. People complaining about it and everything constantly about the Epstein stuff. All those people are adults now. We have it happening right now, but I don't hear anybody griping about that shit. It's like every time they arrest people, I share it with everyone because I want people to see that people are being arrested. Now we have to have them go to court with actual judges that give a shit about the victims instead of patting the poor victim, the criminals on the hand and saying, well, yeah, I know you're a drug addict and you've had all these problems and it's okay that you raped a few kids. We'll have to work it out. It's ridiculous. It's disgusting. And I'm sick of it. I'm so sick of it, of people sucking up to all these criminals simply because they feel sorry for them. Don't you feel sorry for the victims they just made? It's just pathetic. Yeah, because it wasn't you and it wasn't your kid. You don't give a shit about that person's kid. Well, I do. I care about their kids. I care about all kids. I care about all women and all boys, all teenagers, anyone that's being abused against their will. That's wrong. And those people should all be held accountable for it. Period. So, I'd like to see that. I'd love to see that one day. And hopefully I will in my lifetime. But this next thing I wanted to share is a wonderful woman and I think her point of view is adorable. So I'm going to let you listen to what she has to say in her own words. It's about Fulton County, Georgia arrests coming, is what she's thinking. So here we go. I'm going to open it up and let her speak for herself.
Fulton County.
1 week ago today, the FBI and the Trump DOJ carried out a raid in Fulton County Elections Hub.
It was glorious, honey.
They took nearly 700 boxes of documents containing sensitive voter information.
Sensitive information equaling the same information we put on fucking everything.
And all the original ballots from the 2020 election.
We need all of those.
This is a blatant attempt
to prove you guys cheated
by our federal government, not just to interfere with Georgia's elections, but to take them over.
Listen, bitch, if you can't seem to count right, then we're going to have to get somebody else to count for you. 1, 2, 3, 4 seems to be a little difficult for y'all these days.
When President Trump,
yo daddy,
is talking about nationalizing elections, he is talking about Georgia.
Everybody out there cheating, baby. Y'all sounding real guilty right now. I'm just letting you know.
Let me be clear about something. This is not normal.
Accountability looks crazy, don't it?
We're living in unprecedented times.
It's called popcorn cinema, okay?
And the continuation of the great experiment that is our democracy is at stake.
Democracy? Stop.
The worst thing that we can do as a society, as a state, and as leaders under this gold dome is to underestimate the threat.
Agree, because a lot of us had to wake the fuck up to y'all's evil motherfucking ass.
Fulton County Commission Chairman Rob Pitts called this a very serious matter.
Now this is where this shit gets good.
The chairman says that he was informed by a Washington insider that he and several state officials and other county officials will be arrested.
Yes! Come on now, somebody. Did she say arrest? Did she say arrest?
In connection with the 2020 election. Eye-opening news there if it is in fact true.
Not just eye-opening, this is excellent news.
Fulton County has really filed a motion in federal court to have those ballots returned here to Fulton County.
Oh, these bitches guilty. Time the motion gets filed and gets to a person who will actually adhere to it, they will have read, copied, and put all them files in AI, okay?
The chairman also says that they have hired additional lawyers.
Because you're going to need them.
Says it is a very, very serious matter.
It's real fear. There ain't no fake fear, boo. This is real shit.
He also says that he wants the warrant unsealed.
Do they know all of our crimes or just a few? We need to know what they know. They want that shit unsealed, sure do.
Can find out what the allegations are as it relates to the 2020 election. Now, Chairman Pitts says he promised the voters here in Fulton County that he would oppose any national takeover.
Oppose it all you want. But best believe, once they prove y'all cheated, easy money for Daddy Trump, okay?
Fulton County, make no mistake, in my opinion, we are the poster child here.
Yep, you are absolutely the poster child, and every crime needs one. So, congratulations.
I love her. She is so funny. And I hope she gets millions and millions of views because she deserves it. I mean, that is talent. And the way she explains everything in such short little bursts, micro bursts, it's wonderful. And she's funny as heck. And I shared her link in the chat. So any of you can go and watch that video and share it with anyone because that is funny. We don't get enough of that stuff that is, it's interesting, it's funny, and it's informative all together. You don't usually get that together, and I think it's awesome. But I wanted to share this next thing. I want to share is because it's actually Trump in his own words from 1988, I think, and he's on the Oprah Winfrey Show. So I want to play this because I want people to look at it, think about it, and see what he said then that he's not trying to say now. So he hasn't really changed his tune very much about what he feels was going on back then. So here we go. I'm going to play it for you.
last year criticizing U.S. foreign policy. What would you do differently, Donald?
I'd make our allies, forgetting about the enemies you can't talk to so easily. I'd make our allies pay their fair share. We're a debtor nation. Something's going to happen over the next number of years with this country, because you can't keep going on losing $200 billion, and yet we let Japan come in and dump everything right into our markets and everything. It's not free trade. If you ever go to Japan right now and try to sell something, forget about it, Oprah. Just forget about it. It's almost impossible. They don't have laws against it. They just make it impossible. They come over here, they sell their cars, their VCRs, they knock the hell out of our companies. And hey, I have tremendous respect for the Japanese people. I mean, you can respect somebody that's beating the hell out of you, but they are beating the hell out of this country. Kuwait, they live like kings. The poorest person in Kuwait, they live like kings. And yet they're not paying. We make it possible for them to sell their oil. Why aren't they paying us 25% of what they're making? It's a joke.
This sounds like political presidential talk to me. And I know people have talked to you about whether or not you want to run. Would you ever?
Probably not. But I do get tired of seeing the country ripped off.
Why would you not?
I just don't think I really have the inclination to do it. I love what I'm doing. I really like it.
Also, it doesn't pay as well.
No, it doesn't. But, I just probably wouldn't do it, Oprah. I probably wouldn't, but I do get tired of seeing what's happening with this country. And if it got so bad, I would never want to rule it out totally, because I really am tired of seeing what's happening with this country, how we're really making other people live like kings, and we're not.
What do you think of this year's presidential race, the way it's shaping up?
Well, it's going to be very interesting. I think that probably George Bush has an advantage in terms of the election. I think that probably people would say that he's got like that little edge in terms of the incumbency, et cetera, et cetera. But I think Jesse Jackson's done himself very proud. I think Michael Dukakis has done one hell of a job. And George Bush has done a hell of a job. They all went in there sort of as semi-underdogs, including George Bush, and they've all come out. I think people that are around all three of those candidates can be very proud of the jobs they've done.
You've said, though, that if you did run for president, you believe you'd win.
Well, I don't know. I think I'd win. I tell you what, I wouldn't go in to lose. I've never gone in to lose in my life. And if I did decide to do it, I think I'd be inclined. I would say that I would have a hell of a chance of winning, because I think people, I don't know how your audience feels, but I think people are tired of seeing the United States ripped off. And I can't promise you everything, but I can tell you one thing. This country would make one hell of a lot of money from those people that for 25 years have taken advantage. It wouldn't be the way it's been. Believe me.
I thought that was really good interview. And guess what? I didn't see it. I didn't see that back when he was on TV. When this whole thing started with Trump, I was for Ben Carson, because I thought Ben Carson was a wonderful husband and a wonderful surgeon. I thought he was very smart, and I think his point of view of what he thought he wanted to see America shine again, back to where people were held accountable, things like that. I really liked all of that, and I still like him. I think him and his wife are adorable. They're good Christians. They're what I wish everyone could have in their life: a successful marriage, good job, a good standing in their community, because they work hard for it. They deserve it. And I really wanted that. But then the more I started seeing all the other bubbling up bullshit, I started realizing that he was too good of a gentle of a man, and that we needed someone that was sterner, didn't take no shit, and a businessman. So, I finally, and then when I saw the, I think it was one of the debates, and it showed the camera backstage, and it had Jeb Bush and others that were in there, and they had called Ben Carson's name, but he didn't hear it. So he was standing backstage waiting for his name to be called, and all the people, as they got called, they just nodded or whatever at Ben Carson and walked on stage, didn't do shit. But when Trump went up there, he stayed backstage with Ben Carson. Little things that Trump has done like that is one of the things. It shows me character. It shows me his true character. And I've seen more and more videos. There's this one video I've played on the show a few times. It's a woman that was walking down the road. She was crying and she was upset. She was African American, and Trump didn't know who she was, but Trump was outside waiting for someone, I think is what she said. And he stopped her, when he saw that she was crying, and he asked if he could help her or anything, and she said no, and that she was having problems or whatever, and he told her, well, not to do anything, because he was worried that maybe she was going to go jump off a bridge or something. I don't know, but he gave her $100 bill in her hand, and she said that it made her feel so much better to know that someone like him had stepped up and was worried about her when he didn't have to. He could have just snubbed his nose at her like most people would. And she framed it. She kept the $100 bill. But the thing is that he's done that with thousands and thousands and thousands of people. Okay. And if you look it up, you can meet more and more people, and they'll tell you that things like that he's done. And this was before he was president. So, it shows character. And there was this other thing after he was president. Now, he didn't have to do it either, but he did. But he's done this multiple times. And I've said many times, I'm an Air Force brat. I'm a huge supporter of the military. And I think not one dime should go to any other country. I don't care who they are, if we have any homeless vets. If we have any veteran that is not getting the medical treatment they need, food and housing, then I don't give a shit who they are. They don't deserve our money. We should take care of our people first. And that's why I was behind the whole thing, America First. And this whole tariff thing, I think is great. I've lived in other countries, and I've seen, and I have relatives that are from Norway. And when you can go buy one pack of cigarettes, of Marlboro cigarettes, with 10 cigarettes in it, and they cost you $20. You know why? Because of the tariff on it. Now, they send stuff here. They didn't have tariffs. They weren't paying anything. But every product that America sent over there was a tariff like 300%. I mean, it was huge. So all these people in these other countries buying anything American made think that, man, we're all freaking rich as can be because we can afford $20 for a pack of 10 cigarettes. It's shit like that. It's a misconception of a lot of these people over there simply because of the amount of money their country sells our products for and charges us. So the fact that we're leveling that out, saying if you want to sell your shit over here, lower the tariffs for us and we'll keep the tariffs low over here for you. That way it's fair trade. That means if somebody wants an American product or they want a product from this country or that country, they can look at it and say, well, it's this much more for this, but I want this, I'm going to buy it. Okay. But be able to afford it because it doesn't have a 300% or more markup. You know, you can go buy a little bag of popcorn that's yellow kernels and pop it at home, and it's 99 cents for a whole bag, and you can make a huge amount of popcorn. But when you go to the movie theater, how come that popcorn's $5, $10, $20? And you know it's cheap, but man, it's good, isn't it? And they pop it in that thing and put all that butter on it, and it's delicious and salty, and you get to lick it and everything. You expect to pay a little more because it's hot buttered popcorn they just made for you, right? So, you know, it's up to us to say, hey, you know, we're sick of being ripped off. And I think it's great. I think it's awesome. So I wouldn't mind. I don't mind doing it. Because if they're going to charge us out the wazoo, why shouldn't we charge them? You know, that's how I feel about it. And Walmart made a fortune selling you and I cheap plastic shit from China. So, and they were marking it up enough to where, you know, like they're making it over there and getting paid $25 a day or whatever. And we're paying, you know, this much money to buy their stuff. You know, it's sad that they get ripped off, you know, but if you buy their product, you're helping rip them off because you're saying, see, I'm buying this, even though as soon as you use it, it breaks and you got to go buy 10 more instead of just buying one American made one that's more than likely made a hell of a lot better. But, you know, that's all right. That's funny. Let's see who's in here. I'm sorry. I'm missing you guys in the chat. I'm doing all this stuff by myself. I don't have a panel to help, you know, talk and bring up stuff or whatever else. So I'm having to do it by myself. Let's see. Where was it? Let's see. Alabama John said he wants to talk to you right now. He is also live on Rumble. Come by when you can, Rumble Heart. Okay, I'm on Rumble right now, airing. Okay, well, that's nice. I don't know him, I don't think, but okay. Okay, thanks. And then let's see what this one. 1982, I didn't see it either. I was 18 then. Yeah, it was. I never saw it. I never even, I wasn't even really interested in stuff. Just like most of us are. We're in high school. We care about high school stuff. High school this or whatever. This is big. That's big. What clothing is big. What our friends are doing. We're not thinking about that. And then once we get into where you're starting to have to work, and then you get your first check and you go, what's FICA? You don't know what that means. Well, that's when you start learning about taxes and things like that. At least you're supposed to. But we have kids now that never have a job until they get out of college because mom and dad pays for everything. And then they Uber this and they charge it on their phone, and they all hate government because we all hate the government because they're ruining everything and taking everything from everyone. And I'm going to college to be a lesbian basket weaver. So when I get out, I better be able to get a job, and people better buy my baskets. That's the attitude that I'm seeing more and more of people that can't even write cursive or read cursive, because that's what we're teaching our kids now. We're teaching them not to be able to sustain themselves. We have people graduating from high school and college that can't sew with a sewing machine or a needle and thread. They can't cook, and they demand to be paid $25 an hour to work at McDonald's. Things like that. It's sad. I mean, I am a daughter, the middle daughter out of 5 girls, and my dad was an Air Force jungle survival instructor. Okay. So I grew up on military bases, and we traveled all the time and did all this stuff. But the thing is, I don't understand why we're not getting our kids ready to go out and live and understand what taxes are and what, how to have respect for others, to open doors for people if their hands are full, courtesy, being nice to people, but not expecting to be treated like a piece of shit when you go to a restaurant. If you order something and they bring it to you and it's not anything that you ordered, okay, why would you accept that? Or if you order a drink, let's say you order a gin and tonic and they bring you a whiskey sour. You're going to drink it and say, oh, well, I'm going to pay them for it because it's not their fault they made me the wrong drink. You see, I don't understand any of this. I just think it's bullshit. We're saying we want one thing, and then when they give us something we didn't ask for, we just accept it and go on instead of saying, what the fuck? We put you in. We voted for you to put you in to do a job, and all we expect is you to do the damn job. That's it. That's all we ask. But yet there all these people in Congress just twiddling their thumbs and shit. They said all this stuff, and haven't even gotten put all the judges in that Trump has asked for in over a freaking year. I don't know. I just don't understand it. I'm sick of rhinos. I'm sick of people who say they're conservative, but everything they do is not conservative. They do everything but what you ask them to do. At least Trump's doing everything. He's trying to do everything, but he's not a king. He can't do it all with executive orders. He needs the people in their office to make laws so he can sign them into law. That's what his job is. He's not supposed to do all this stuff with executive orders. He's having to go to California and do this stuff for the fire people. He's having to go to this stuff for the floods. He's having to do all this different stuff and try to fix all the fraud. I don't know. I got so many things on the shit show because it's never ending shit. It just goes on and on and on. And if Trump is anywhere in there, they'll throw up whatever they can at him. And the whole thing about this Epstein stuff is great. It's coming out now, and look who's all in it. They're all swimming and diving for cover. Boy, that I got some good stuff I'm gonna be showing later. It's hilarious because Trump wasn't that worried about it because he kicked the guy out of Mar-a-Lago because he was hitting on young girls, and he went on with his business. He was a businessman. He was running a business, and Epstein was in the way, so he got rid of him. Okay. He did talk to the people that came and asked him questions about Epstein. He did it. He's one of the only ones that did. And, it's none of his business. He's not involved in all that shit. But the thing is, guess what? He told us, the DOJ, get the shit out, get the people out there. But it was funny, as soon as the Democrats thought they could use all this to hurt Trump, boy, they wanted to bitch and release the Epstein. Now they're all like, no, I don't know these people. When all along, I just said one thing. I just said, get the judge that was presided over Ghislaine Maxwell's case and put her in prison for trafficking young women. Release all the documents from that case. They were used to put someone in prison, so they're all can withstand court and hold people accountable. But I don't hear anybody wanting to do that. None of the Democrats were on the bandwagon. Bam, bam, bam. Let that stuff out. None of them did shit. Nobody said shit about it. So we got plenty of stuff, but people go after the wrong shit and they ride it like a dead horse. It's pathetic. I don't get it. I really don't get it. But let me close this, and then I'll open up the next thing here. Let's see. What was this one? Oh, yeah. Here's another thing. Like I said, one of my things that I like to do, and I've gotten taken down from YouTube for it, for, a few weeks for getting a warning or whatever, or strike, because I like to talk about people that like children and underage people that aren't legal, right? So I get in trouble for that. Well, this is another person who feels the same way I do about seeing people that do those things get their up and comings. So I wanted to play this because now he's being targeted. So here we go. And I've played Sean Ryan quite a bit on my show because I like what he has to say. I believe in what he's doing. And he's got some freaking awesome guests on his show. And I always share his links because I want you to go watch his stuff. I want you to go listen to him. You learn so many things. And dig around in some of the stuff that he's already got on his website and stuff. He's very, very informative. And see right here, he's got documents right here. So I'm going to share this link to this right here after we listen to this, so that you can go and dig in the rest of the stuff that he wants people to listen to. And he's trying to get me to share, everyone to share it. So take a gander to this.
I need to talk to you about something serious. Last week, I received a demand letter from lawyers representing Kanakuk Ministries, a Christian summer camp in Missouri. They're threatening to sue me for defamation because of something I said on my podcast with Congressman Ro Khanna. Here's what I said. I brought Elizabeth Phillips on my show, and she talked about how Kanakuk employees have been molesting thousands of kids for years and putting them under NDAs after settlements so they can never come out and talk about their sexual abuse and trauma. Kanakuk's lawyers are demanding I take down that portion of the interview, issue a public apology, and stop talking about this. They gave me 10 days. That deadline has passed. Here's my response. No, I don't negotiate with pedophiles or the people who defend them. I'm not taking anything down. I'm not apologizing, and I'm damn sure not going to stop talking about child sexual abuse at a Christian camp that continues to operate on the same grounds where horrific abuse took place. Let me be crystal clear about the facts. Facts that Kanakuk's own lawyers admitted in their letter. 1. Pete Newman, a senior Kanakuk employee and camp director, sexually abused children at Kanakuk for multiple years in the early 2000s. He's now serving life sentences. 2, between 20 and 30 civil lawsuits were filed against Kanakuk. 3, multiple confidential settlement agreements were executed with victims, NDAs that prevented these kids from speaking publicly about what happened to them. Kanakuk can't prove the number is less than thousands, and given their own admission of a cover-up, the true number is unknowable. But here's what really pisses me the fuck off. Kanakuk is still operating a camp at the very location where countless children suffered horrific abuse. They're still running programs. They're still bringing kids to the exact same place. And now they want to silence me for talking about it. This isn't about protecting their reputation. This is about protecting children, and I will not be silenced. My attorney has sent Kanakuk's lawyers a response. We've made it clear. If they want to sue me, bring it on. We welcome discovery. We welcome depositions of Kanakuk leadership about what they knew, when they knew it, and what they did or didn't do to protect children. We welcome full disclosure of every abuse allegation, every settlement, every internal investigation, and every financial record showing whether Kanakuk actually suffered any harm from my statement or whether this is just an attempt to intimidate people into silence. Under Tennessee law, Kanakuk will have to prove I'm lying. They'll have to prove actual malice, that I knew my statements were false, or that I had serious doubts about its truth. They can't do that because I relied on Elizabeth Phillips, whose brother was a victim. I relied on public court records, relied on widespread media coverage of Pete Newman's prosecution, and most importantly, they admit the core of what I said is true. Kanakuk employees sexually abused children. Victims were silenced by confidentiality agreements. That's not defamation. That's the truth. I want to say something directly to survivors. I see you. I believe you, and I will not stop fighting for you. Sexual abuse at youth camps, especially Christian camps that are supposed to be safe places, is a matter of urgent public concern. Parents have a right to know. Kids have a right to be protected, and survivors have a right to speak. Kanakuk's attempt to use legal threats to silence reporting on child sexual abuse in itself is newsworthy, and I'm going to keep reporting on it. To Kanakuk, you want to talk about callous and malicious disregard for the truth? Let's talk about operating a camp where a predator had access to thousands of children for years. Let's talk about confidentiality agreements that silenced traumatized kids. Let's talk about continuing to operate on a crime scene. You're not the victim here. The children you failed to protect are the victims. I stand by every word I said. I will not retract. I will not apologize. And if you want to sue me, my lawyers are ready. To everyone watching, this is why I do this show. This is why we tell real stories about real people, because the truth matters, because kids matter, and because some things are more important than money or reputation. If you want to support survivors of institutional child sexual abuse, check out No More Victims, the organization Elizabeth Phillips founded. They're passing laws to protect kids and hold institutions like Kanakuk accountable. And if you're a survivor, please know it's not your fault. You deserve justice, and there are people fighting for you. I'll keep you updated as this develops, but I'm not going to be backing down. Hey, Jeremy, what's the name of that law firm?
Hush Blackwell.
Hush Blackwell. I wonder how many pedophiles they've defended. That'd be an interesting piece of information to know.
I really, really like him. I love his show. And I just shared the link again. And I am getting a lot of hate tonight in the, I've had to ban 2 people. And I'm sorry if any of you had to read some of the nasty stuff that they've been writing. But you know, I'm by myself and I'm not a pro. I'm just a, you know, an Air Force brat basically. So I'm trying to do that. And I don't have any wrenches right now. My other wrench had to leave a little while ago. So I'm gonna try to do it myself. But I mean, I have gotten death threats. I get hate all the time on my channel. Tons of it. They hate me because I speak against pedophiles. I speak out against mutilating children's genitals, you know, before they're even old enough to buy a cigarette, a pack of smokes. Okay. Because I did vote for Trump because I am a conservative. I believe that your money should stay in your bank account, not in the government. I believe in small government. And I've said it since I first started doing this. And that's what I do. And I don't care. You can say whatever you want. You can do whatever you want, but I don't have to let people read it. You know, if it's on my channel, guess what? I'm gonna kick you off. I'm gonna ban you. I'm gonna not let you be on my thing. I don't do this for numbers. I have been on X for 4 years and I have 12,000 followers. I have a sister that's on there. She's been on there a year and a half and she's got 20 something thousand. Why? Because she lets anyone follow her. Anyone that follows me that puts porn and nasty shit and says terrible, nasty stuff like some of these people that were in my chat earlier, guess what? I ban them because I'm not on here for numbers. I'm not making any money. I don't care. I don't give a shit what you think. Okay. And you don't have to give a shit about what I think. I could care less. You could turn the channel just like a TV. Click, click. It's that simple. If you don't want to hear what I have to say, don't listen. I'm not forcing you. I'm not tying you down and making you listen to what I have to say. Leave. Go somewhere else, find something that's more, but you won't because people like that have to find people like me to harass, to make them feel manly or womanly or macho or look at me, I'm harassing that person because I'm a keyboard warrior. You won't put your face out like me. Okay. But, you know, that's on you. And I feel sorry for you. I really do. And I hope one day you do find God. Because if you did have God in your heart, you wouldn't do that kind of stuff. You wouldn't search people out to hurt people for fun, whatever. So, you know, I hope you guys find something to do with your life better than stalking people online. I think it's just ridiculous and sad. But that was one thing I wanted to say about earlier today. I watched a video of a trial of a young woman who was 16 years old. She was dating this man and she wanted to break up with him because he wasn't treating her good. He was mean to her and she's 16. You know, she's not married to him. She didn't want to date him anymore and he wouldn't leave her alone. He harassed her constantly, followed her everywhere she went and she was still trying to get on with her life. But what's he do? He decides he doesn't want her to live anymore. So he stabs her multiple times, leaves her paralyzed from, you know, like just above her chest down. And then her mother tried to stop him and he started stabbing the mother. And then a bystander saw, ran, and tackled him. And he stabbed him a few times, cut his hands all up. And then he slit his own throat. But he lived, okay, because people around him saved his life. Just like they saved her life. So he got put in prison for life, which he deserves because he attacked 3 people. He tried to murder someone. But I saw so much hate in the chat against the woman that tried to save her daughter's life and the man, the total stranger that saw what was happening and tried to save both the women from a psycho guy with a knife that's attacking someone. And people were crying because he got life in prison. Okay. Where does that come from? Where are these people coming from? Why are we creating more and more people in a world that thinks it's okay to take a knife and stab someone to death because they didn't do what you wanted them to do. Where did that come from? You have no right to come into my house or come and touch me in any way because you're mad or because I'm not doing what you want me to do. Now, if I'm walking down the street and I'm totally naked and cops come to arrest me, yeah, I should get arrested because I'm exposing myself to people who shouldn't have to see me in public. That's why we have laws. You know, government should be of laws rather than men. We have laws and we all should have to be to follow them. That's how it works. And we have police officers and we call 911 and the cops come and they arrest the bad guy and take him to jail and they sit in jail and wait till they get to go to court, where people like me will get picked to sit on a jury and look at the evidence and weigh it and see whether or not how they should be punished or how severe they should be punished, things like that. We have that set up since our forefathers, which were geniuses, to take us out of another country, come here to be free and have more rights for each of us. But yet that's not enough. People feel that it's their way or the highway for everyone else. And they force themselves on you every single day. They force their point of view. They force you to watch whatever show they say you have to watch. You have to wear these clothes. You have to eat this food. You have to live here and you have to do this, that, and the other. That's not freedom. That's communism. And that's what they want. If they want that, go somewhere that has that. Go live in China. They have that. They'd be welcome you with open arms and you can be treated like that every day. But see, you won't do it because socialism is for the socialists, not the people, right? The people are being forced under other people that have more and think they're better than them. So I'm smarter and I know how to take care of their kids better than them. They probably shouldn't even have kids. So we'll castrate everyone. I mean, they can do whatever they want. And you want to hand them that. Not me or the people. I'm not you guys in chat or whatever. I'm saying the people that are saying we need communism, we need socialists, we need this, that, the other. They're trying to ruin our country that our forefathers built for us. So we can either hand it to them or we can fight for it. And the only way to fight for it is to start fighting in your own town, in your church, in your communities, in your families, in your schools, and take your state back. Take our states back one at a time. Guess what? The country's ours again. That's why each of our states have our own constitutions. Okay. So, you know, that's, to me, that's factual. And, you know, it's sad that so many people just don't seem to see it that way. They just say, oh, well, there's nothing I can do. Just go home and eat my sandwich and watch my reruns of whatever shows on TV that you seem to like, or a movie over and over again, instead of thinking about what can I do to help my community, you know, or help my neighbor. Because one day it might be you that's in a wheelchair. It might be you that needs help at your home because your roof got blown off from a tornado or something. But, you know, I don't know. It's just sad because so many people don't seem to give a shit about it. But I do. I still do. Even if nobody wants to listen, that's fine. I got many videos with 3 or 4 views. That's all right. I don't care. I pay every month. I pay $25 a month just so I can air this stuff. And I'm not getting paid to do it. I'm doing it because I want to do it. I'm doing it because I think it's important. Even if I help one person a month, just one person, and they send me a DM and say, thank you so much. I signed up to work the polls. I did this. I did that. It makes me feel good. It makes me feel like a better person because I'm doing something. And taking time out of my own life to try to help somebody else. And to me, it's worth it. So even if I get hate, I'm going to get, I must be doing something right if people are starting to hate me because of it. So, oh well, You guys aren't getting rid of me that easy. But let's see, this is the next thing. Yeah, this is another thing I think is great. I just love this guy. He's from Florida. He's the Surgeon General of Florida. And I got my first strike against my channel because I played an interview with him when he was talking about the COVID vaccine and about whether or not it alters DNA of children, and that he was going to stop it. And he was being interviewed by Tucker Carlson. And I played a very small snippet, and I didn't get a copyright strike. I got taken down because it was medical misinformation from the Surgeon General of Florida. So just, I don't know who, and then they wouldn't listen to me. I tried to appeal it, and but they wouldn't even listen to me. And guess what? I still have that warning up, and it's been over a year, and I still have it. And I've asked YouTube a million times, please help me get this warning take down. I took your little class that you made me take, and I did everything you asked, and I still have a warning against my channel. So no matter what I do, I already have a warning. So every morning I get up and I do anything. So if I say the wrong thing, or guess what? You strike, you get down for 2 weeks. And they just leave it up there because they don't want someone like me to be able to get that taken off, apparently, because they don't even listen to me. I've done like 12 surveys, and I've said that in each one. The reason I don't want to do this or that, or I don't think YouTube helps, is because I've had this on there and I've asked for help over and over again. I've even gone to X and gone to YouTube's channel and wrote all kinds of comments and wrote messages to them. Nothing. They don't care. They could care less. So that's why I know that I'm never going to make money. I'm never going to become famous because of it. And guess what? I don't care. I'm doing it because I want to do it. But I can't wait to get to hear what he has to say, because this guy is great. He knows what he's doing. He's smart. And guess what? He wasn't a DEI hire. I can tell you that. So, oh, thank you, Mac. That's so sweet of you. I don't know how to. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. This is my first thing like this. So I have no idea what I'm supposed to do with it. But thank you very much. I really, really, really appreciate it. It's my first, I think it's called a super chat or whatever. Well, thank you. I really appreciate it. What streaming platform I'm using? It's called a StreamYard. But guess what? I pay extra because when I have a guest on my show, they can air it to their channel. So I'm paying so that my guests can share it on whatever platform they want. Also, because I do stuff for comic books. I do a movie review show with Bruce. I play Pathfinder live. I do all kinds of stuff. But guess what? Every guest, like last night, I had Darren on my show, and he talked about his Demi-Foot comic book. And he could air it to his channel. So he aired it to his YouTube channel so he could get views and maybe work on his channel that way. Because no one ever did that for me. Whenever I was on anyone's channel, I was never offered, hey, do you want to air this to your channel? I didn't even know it. I aired almost 2 years of A Girl, Guy, and a Movie, and never aired it on my channel because I didn't even know I could. I didn't know anything about it. Because of Bruce, I've learned to use some of this stuff, and I'm getting a little better at it, making my own videos and doing all that, because I wanted to share information. And I have always been into politics. I've worked the polls. I've done a lot of stuff like that. I went and I've got signatures to get rid of something in the city limits, things like that. And I also worked with people to stop the government from being able to ban us from collecting rainwater. Can you believe that? Some states will put you in jail and fine you if you try to collect rainwater that comes off of your own roof into a barrel. And you think that the government gives a shit about you. Well, they don't. They'll tax you for every single dime that you make if they can get away with it. And if you do nothing, guess what? They win. So you not voting automatically is voting for the person that you don't want in office. So that's how I look at it. And I may be wrong, but so far, everything I'm seeing unfold with the Democrats, all the stuff with Obama, all the stuff with the Clintons, and all the stuff with Biden is proving to me that not enough people are fighting because they're just letting these people just do whatever they want. Look at all the fraud they're uncovering. Millions and millions, trillions of dollars. We probably won't even be in debt if it wasn't for all the fraud. Our government, I mean, our country would not be in debt. I don't think we even have a deficit because they collect so much money in taxes, but because of all that money just sitting in front of them, they're like, what can we do to steal this money and get this vacation and whatever else, hookers, prostitutes, whatever, whatever they want to spend it on, because there's so much money in front of them. It's like taking some toddlers and sitting them in a room and then putting a jar of candy right in the middle of it and telling them they can't touch it, but they can look at it. How long do you think they're going to sit there before their hands are in that and they're eating it? Well, that's what these people are doing with your money that you went to work and earned. And they just took it. And they're taking it, and they're still taking it right now. And we're just sitting around going, oh, well, there's nothing we can do. I mean, it's pathetic. I just don't know how you guys can put up with this shit. It just makes me so angry. But let me play him because he is so good. And I want you to hear what he has to say. Because he says the Surgeon General of Florida just announced that vaccine mandates in Florida will be ended. So I really just like this guy. So I'm going to play him for you. Here we go.
But what I'm most excited about is an announcement that we're making now, which is that the Florida Department of Health, in partnership with the governor, is going to be working to end all vaccine mandates in Florida law. All of them. All of them. All of them. Every last one of them. Yeah. Yeah. Every last one of them. All of them. Every last one of them. Every last one of them is wrong and drips with disdain and slavery. Okay? Who am I as a government or anyone else, or who am I as a man standing here now to tell you what you should put in your body? Who am I to tell you what your child should put in your body? I don't have that right. Your body is a gift from God. What you put into your body is because of your relationship with your body and your God. I don't have that right. Government does not have that right. They want you to believe they have that right. And unfortunately, they've been successful.
Well, I got one thing to say about that. Think about this. How quickly would all of that whole mandates would have went away if somebody would have came out and said, I found out what's in the vaccine and it has pork in it. How many Muslims would have been able to get that mandate taken down? All of them. You see what I'm saying? It's scary to think about it, but if a certain group of people say they're not going to do something, as long as it isn't my group, okay? If you're white and you're a man, I can tell you right now, you got the biggest bullseye on you because you're being pushed down to the bottom. Right now, the Somalians are at the very top, even though they've ripped us off out the wazoo, and they were brought here. Most of them were probably just picked out of a village, put on planes and brought here because certain people that wanted to make money for themselves and fame for their state and for other people in their state brought them in and sent them to specific places to set up the daycare fraud and other things like that, because who's that going to work with? They can't come to your town and take people from your community and say, we're going to take you here. Even, whether you're, even if you were from, let's say your parents were from China or from another country, they couldn't come and get their kids as adults and say, we're going to bring you here and we're going to put you in these factories and we're going to put you in these houses where 20 of you live there each, and we're going to make money off of you while you're in there. They couldn't do that to people that were educated and had any kind of sense. They had to bring people that were not educated. You see what I'm saying? To bring them there, because they already had the fraud set up and ready to go. As soon as they could get them there, they could implement it. Say, okay, we have all these people and they're all working in this factory for pennies on the dollar. So their factories are making buku dollars. Now they're using the sinks to wash their genitals. They're pooping and peeing all over the place because they don't have the same laws and the same upbringings as we do in America. So they just say, oh, well, look the other way. We'll put some signs up and we'll try to get them to stop doing it. Well, they kept doing it. I've played many, many videos on the Friday Night Shit Show showing leakers, whistleblowers or whatever, saying, hey, these people are doing these in these factories where they produce food, and they're washing their genitals in the sinks, and they're pooping and peeing all over the place in the factory where they're making food. But OSHA never went in and shut them down. Why? Think about it. Because everyone's paid off. All the right people were paid off to make sure these people were kept dumb. Say, just do what we tell you to do and we'll give you a free house and food and whatever else. And they got that, and they can have their little church and do whatever they want because they think it's a huge step up from where they left with dirt floors and no running water and things like that. People aren't thinking of it that way, but that's what I'm seeing. And that's why the people up above them are making millions and millions of dollars and stuffing their bank accounts and their families. They're making their families richer and richer off of the people that weren't educated enough to understand what they were being used, basically as slaves. And yes, slavery in America, because that's what they were doing with these people. So all of you saying, oh, we gotta put all of them in jail. Well, guess what? I just send them back to where they came from. They're not Americans. Send them back and arrest the people that set it all up. Arrest the people where the money went. The ones who knew what was going on and used these people to make money off of us and endangering us, because a bunch of us are eating food that's been exposed to human feces and stuff. See, it's huge, people. This is big. It's not just a few dollars being ripped off. It's exposing people to a lot of different things, and people don't want to know about it. They just want to turn and look the other way because, I don't want to know about it because I don't want to be in the middle of it. Oh, they might point their fingers at me and blame me for being racist or blame me for being a Nazi or whatever the hell. It's pathetic. I'm just so sick of this shit. I'm so tired of all these people that do nothing but bitch and moan, but do nothing. They don't want to do anything to help fix it. They just want to bitch and moan about it. Oh, well. It must be nice to live in La La Land. I wish I lived there sometimes. But let me bring up this next thing. Sorry, I told you there's a lot of shit. There's always a ton of shit, because as long as dumbasses are running half the country, we're gonna always have dumbass shit going on. That's just the way I see it. So you're gonna never run out of shit. I don't care if Trump fixes almost every problem that we have in the years that he has. We're still gonna have shit, because you're always gonna have criminals. You're always gonna have rapists. You're always gonna have people that abuse their spouse. You're gonna have kids that abuse kids. You're gonna always have hate. Okay, until you die and you go to heaven, and where sin isn't allowed, you're going to have it. It's just going to be there. It's just the way it is. That's life. And we have to put up with the shit to have a little bit of the good things in life. So, but here we go. I'm going to share this. This was pretty interesting when I got to read it. It's Dr. Phil explaining about ICE compared to what the way the reporters tell us things. So it's just interesting. It's another perspective from Dr. Phil, and he's really good at explaining things. So here we go. I'll play it for you. It's a minute and a half, a little over a minute and a half.
I know the stories in New York, Chicago, Los Angeles, and I know them because I was there. I was on the ground with ICE. I was embedded with those agents at the time. So I have first draft historian knowledge of what actually took place, and then watched what was reported on the news. I'm looking at it like, this is two different stories.
Two different movies.
Seriously, and it's not a matter of a political bent, it's a factual situation. I know I'm there and I've seen a 150-page, I'm making that number up. I mean, it's like a thick thing. It might have been 70 pages, thick file on a targeted individual with a criminal history, with ugly convictions, and a targeted operation to go in and extract this individual. And then it gets reported as sweeping neighborhoods and just taking anybody with a tan.
Right.
And I'm like, come on, that's just absolutely not what took place. And I see what happened in Los Angeles, and I know that this was primarily an IRS action, and there were illegal immigrants that were involved when this company was raided for tariff violations and IRS actions and all sorts of things, completely reported differently. And I'm thinking, this is like it's written by activists, not news reporters.
Yeah, I remember watching a couple of reports when Dr. Phil went there, and he was trying to find out why they stopped doing the rapid DNA tests. I can't remember who else was with him. Oh, God, I guess that's a bad memory. But because when Trump was in office the first time, when they were doing the whole thing and people were trying to bring, someone they said was their kids, they had 5 kids or whatever, and these are my kids or whatever. It'd be a single man or a single woman, and they would do rapid DNA tests. And then they would say, yeah, these are your kids or whatever. And they'll try to get them all in or whatever and give them whatever they needed, whatever, that type of stuff. But then all of a sudden, when Biden got in, they got rid of it because it's easier to let a guy or a coyote come over the border with 20-something kids when they don't have to prove that they're the parent of any of them, or the uncle or the cousin or anything. Because they just took a bunch of money and from these families to try to get their kids to come to America so they can have a better life. Because for some reason, they think that we're all decadent and we all like sit around and just peel our grapes and eat them or something. I don't know what they think about us. Because we have people here that are homeless. We have people here that are drug addicts. We have people here that have no place to live, that live out of their vehicles. We have tons of people like that. And so why they think for some reason they're going to come here and get something so much better? Well, one of the reasons is because you have you go to Lowe's and you see all these people in the parking lot waiting for someone to come and hire them and give them a job so they can mow your yard or build a fence for you or whatever. And you're going to pay them some money. And then guess what they do with the money? Since they're not documented, they don't have to pay taxes. Okay. And you just helped them fraud you by hiring someone that you knew is not going to pay taxes. So they're getting free health care. They're getting their kids to go to school that you're paying for, and you're paying for their health care. Nothing's free. Okay. There's no such thing as free. When you're a kid and your mom makes you a grilled cheese sandwich and gives it to you, and she doesn't say, here, give me $1 for your sandwich. She doesn't charge you for living in her house. That's free, I guess. You could say that. But when we have people coming here and they have a place to live, they have electricity, they have running water, they can go to the clinic, and they can get food. Okay, all these things, somebody's paying for it. Now, a lot of people say, well, it's free. Well, it's not free. We, the people that go to work at Tyson or Firestone or, Walmart or wherever you're working as a waitress, as a cashier or a stalker or whatever job that you have, they're taking money out of your check and they're putting it in that little fund to pay for those people to have a free place to live. Yeah. And guess what? They're not taking their money. These people aren't going to Lowe's and saying at the end of the day, taking half their money, the cash they just received, and handing it to the people that's giving them the free place to live. There's no exchange going on. I just don't understand where you guys come from. These people that think that it's free. Nothing is free. Somebody paid for it, for you to get it for nothing, because you're not giving it back. What are you doing when you get your money? You're going down to Western Union and you're paying half that money and spending $50 to send it back to Mexico or wherever you came from. Guatemala, wherever, I don't know where you're from, whatever country you came from to get here, and you're not giving it back to us. You're not giving it back to the people that are paying your way. You're giving it back to your family. So your family's thinking, wow, look, when they're sending pictures on their $900 iPhone, and they're sending pictures of their nice apartment, their furnished apartment, their new clothes, their new shoes, their kids are going to school, the food that they're buying look at Walmart, it's got all this stuff, they're sending all these pictures back. So why wouldn't those people think they're rich? Look, it's worth sending our children with a bunch of coyotes to be raped and starved and whatever, beaten or whatever, so they get a chance to live this way, because that's what they think is here. Free shit. But someone's paying for it. And a lot of these kids, young people that are being sent over here, are paying for it with their lives and their mental state, because once they've been abused, they're never going to be normal. Once you give a child certain things that adults are the only ones that should have, they're not a child anymore. So you've taken that away from them. So parents, think about that when you're putting your kid in a truck with somebody you don't know, just because you paid them $500 to take your kid over the border. Don't do it. It's sad with what's happening to all these people. And we're doing it, and we're helping, because we're not doing enough to stop them. So if you're going to come here, come with your kid. Go to the border and go to the office and say you want to become a citizen. And then they'll give you all the stuff you need to do, find out, or even get online. If you have a phone, you can get online and Google it, what you have to do to become a citizen. But now, I was born in Newfoundland because my dad was in the Air Force. And right before COVID, I was thinking, I'm gonna apply for my dual citizenship, because I would love to go back to where I was born and walk around and see what it looks like, what it'd be like to be where I was born, and look around. I know a lot of people want to do that, but as soon as I started seeing the way they treated people, they didn't want to get the COVID shot and things like that, because I didn't get it. I'm a killer, I want to kill everyone because I wouldn't get the jab, and I didn't want to wear a mask, a lot of things. And guess what I did a few times? I'd go to the grocery store and they'd come up and say, hey, you got to put on a mask. And I'd say, why? And they'd say, well, because you're going to spread COVID. I go, here. And I'd take the back of the box of the masks that I bought in their store. And I said, will you read this? And they'd look at it. And I said, what does it say right there? And she said, well, it says it doesn't stop viruses. And I said, well, so why should I have to wear a mask? Why are you going to force me to wear a mask to stop something it's not going to stop? Because her eyes are exposed and the particles are so small, they go right through the mask anyways. So she goes, I have to get the manager. So they go get the manager. And guess what? After I talked to them a little bit, they just let me shop. They left me alone because they couldn't win the argument because I had facts. Okay. I used facts to win. And they didn't like me. And every time they'd see me, people would walk away from me because I'm going to kill everyone. I never had COVID. I had one blood test and I made them take my blood. Wouldn't let them stick any of those sticks up my nose because I guess I'm a bitch. But I wasn't going to let somebody force me against my will to do something to me that nobody could show me what was in this shot, for one. And I'm allergic to a lot of things. It's not worth dying over, especially if it's just a cold, basically a flu. And, I guess my antibodies are pretty good because I didn't get it. So, and I feel sorry for all the people that felt they had to, especially the military people that were forced against their will because they signed the dotted line to become a military member. And then find out later that everyone that was a postal service worker, guess what? They didn't have to get it. We start finding out more and more people, Congress people that didn't get the jab because they're congressmen. They're smart. We can't risk losing them. Let's lose the plebes. Get rid of the little plebes out there that are worthless. That means us. So I'm thankful that I just said, F you, giving me a shot. And guess what? I would have worked in the chicken plant. I would have swept floors. I would have made beds. I would have cleaned toilets. I would have done whatever I had to pay my bills before I ever got a shot against my will. I would have sold my house because I'm sorry. I don't believe in that. I don't believe in forcing people against their will. That's like taking a person that's a Muslim that doesn't believe in pork or having pork touched or having pet dogs and forcing them to do it against their will, forcing them to eat bacon. That, to me, it's the same thing. It's no different. So every time they bring that up, especially those certain people that are in that religion, Muslims, basically, I say, well, do you think it's right if they force you to do this? No. Well, that's where I'm at. Now you understand where I'm at, and I'm not going to do it. Okay, well, let me bring up this next thing. Sorry, I get on these rants. I can't help myself. But why not? It's, who cares, right? Okay, Benny, here we go. This is really good information right here about someone who thinks they're above the law because they say they're a journalist. Well, guess what? They got arrested, and I'm so thankful. It says the left says arresting Don Lemon is an attack on free speech, but they arrested meme makers for memes. They arrested Trump for tweets. The left says arresting Don Lemon is an attack on journalism, but they don't care when Nick Shirley, James O'Keefe, Nick Sorter, Cam Higbee, and so many other journalists are physically attacked and beaten. See, it's so funny how if you have an L next to your name, it's my way or the highway. It doesn't matter whether it's even and fair. It's only what I feel. My feelings matter. Yours do not. See, that's bullshit. That's why they don't want us to have freedom and equal under the law, because they don't agree with it. It goes against their narrative. So you got to fight for it, people. People should have the right to live their life the way they see fit. And if they want to live that way, as long as they're not forcing it on anyone else, I don't care. If they want to do without, they want to jab themselves up 100 times and have 100 jabs, fine, let them. I have no problem with it. I'm not saying don't let anybody have it. I'm saying don't force it on someone who doesn't want it. That's all I'm saying. And if I was told I had to leave and they said I had to leave and they were going to make me leave, I would have left. But I was just trying to show my point of view that why am I having to wear a mask when this mask box itself says it doesn't stop viruses. So if you were going to say that, you're coughing or you have a fever and you're going to cough spittle on people, then you should wear a mask. Well, yeah, then I would have agreed with them. Because totally different when I spit when I'm coughing. compared to a tiny virus that's flying through the air that goes right into your eye and lands into your blood vessels. But nobody's got their eyes covered. You know, I have allergies, so I understand all that stuff. So it was just ridiculous. But here we go. I'm going to play this for you. Let you hear it from his own mouth.
Attacks on journalism happen every single day in America. It always happens to an independent journalist who's trying to tell a story about the left, whether it's James O'Keefe, Nick Shirley, Nick Sotor, Cam Higbee, Savannah Hernandez, Andy No. Many of them have been on your program, Jesse. Those are the ones who are getting attacked. The left doesn't stand for them. They're not standing for journalism under attack. Is it for free speech? The left wanted to put meme makers in prison and did. The left tried to lock up President Trump when he said things they disagreed with, and they banned all of us, including me, on social media just for saying things they disagreed with. Is this about religion? Is this about the freedom of religion? Well, of course it is, but the left doesn't believe in that, because if this were to happen, let's say you sent Johnny to a mosque or a synagogue and he did the same thing, he'd be arrested, and it would be a brand new 9/11 for the left. It would be the worst thing that ever happened to the left. Don Lemon would be crying like a squeezed lemon. No. They're total and complete hypocrites on this front. They're total and complete frauds. And Don Lemon himself said that he went after that church because I thought that they were white supremacists. Ultimately, Jesse, this is the left attacking the only group of people that they wish to attack constantly, white Christians. This is what the attack is over. They think that white Christians are lesser than, and so it's permissible to go and terrorize
you can
these little
interrupt
Christian
their,
children that were there at the
You
church.
can interrupt their mass. You can interfere in their religious faith and their freedom of expression. But if you dare do that to any other religion, no. You're exactly right. The Christianity play is a big factor in this, and no one's talking about it. Different rules for different folks. Benny, great to see you. Very well dressed tonight. Keep up the great work. Liberal women
mood, Jesse.
Trying to cancel Sydney Sweeney.
Okay, so true, basically. If you are a Christian and you believe that, like I'm saying, because I'm a Christian and I believe that I don't have the right to force my religion on someone else. Now, I can talk to you about it if you are interested in knowing about it. But if they would have done that and went into a mosque, I'm telling you, they would never got away with it. It would been treated totally different. But because it was a Christian church, they had every right to do it, because somebody in the Christian church was ICE. It's like, it doesn't fucking matter. ICE is an agent of the government. You don't have the right to go in there and push your weight around just because you think someone works for the government. A person that works in the VA, okay, let's say the VA office, where people get checks or they're filling out paperwork to help people apply for their VA benefits or whatever it is, right? That's a government agency. Okay. What about the Social Security office? That's a government agency. So they can just go in there and say, we're going to hold this place up simply because somebody in here works for ICE. It's the same thing. It doesn't make any sense. It's ridiculous. And the fact that these people went in there, it was horrible. And the fact that we are in this position in the United States of America in 2026 is scary. I mean, this is scary. This is stuff that the real Nazis actually did. That's what's so funny when they say they're anti-fascists and everything they do is fascist, what a real fascist would do. But see, that's what's sad. We're raising children to be young adults that don't even know what a fascist is, because they're doing fascist stuff, saying they're anti-fascist. It's so sad and pathetic. We look like a bunch of fools to other countries that actually went through some of this stuff, especially in Europe. Their ancestors went through it. We were lucky because we lived in America. America and Canada's lucky that America's right below them because Ain't nobody gonna bother Canada with the Snuggie of America wrapped around them. They're not gonna do shit. They're not gonna bomb them, not gonna do anything. And Canada knows it. So they can be as anal and stupid as they want to their people because they know that no other country is gonna do anything to them because they have us around them. It's just sickening to me. But we'll see. We will see, won't we? And that's right. You might be right about the judge, because that's one thing I've been bitching about since 6 months in to Trump's presidency, because I'm saying, when are they going to get his judges in? They're sitting around, look at me. I was America first, but fuck you. We don't care. We're not doing shit for you. That's basically what they've been doing. Nothing. Lame asses, rhinos. Voting against the SAVE Act, vote against everything that Trump stands for. They're full of shit, almost all of them. So I can't stand them. Can't stand all these pieces of shit that we have right now in Congress. They can't do anything. Just like a few of my friends have said over and over again, it's not right that the president is writing so many executive orders. Well, guess what? If Congress did their job, the president wouldn't have to write executive orders, would he? So it isn't the president's fault that he's having to do a lot of things with executive order, because we have a lame ass Congress that won't do their damn job, that we put them in office. Guess what? They ain't going without a check. So it pisses me off. A lot of us will go without a check, but they won't. So we'll see what happens. But let's see, what was this other one I had? Oh, yeah. Here's the other thing that I found about the whole dumbass idiots that went into the church trying to say they were just trying to find an ICE agent or whatever. Well, this isn't something I saw that came across my timeline. It says a student just confessed he helped organize the church protest in advance with Don Lemon. Okay, so all this shit that he's
developing this morning, a new federal arrest is drawing attention to what prosecutors say was Don Lemon's role in planning and recording the disturbing protest of demonstrators storming that Minnesota church service. A Temple University student has now surrendered on federal charges, admitting he helped Don Lemon with logistics and local contacts ahead of that anti-ICE protest. Jerome Richardson, a political science senior, turned himself in and is accused of conspiring to interfere with religious worship. Court records and social media posts show Richardson describing himself as assisting Don Lemon in the days leading up to the protest. Lemon, who claims he was just reporting, was arrested last week and released, but prosecutors say this new arrest undercuts that defense, suggesting planning and not just passive coverage. Also developing this morning, a new federal arrest is drawing attention to what prosecutors say.
Sorry about that. But let's see, there's tons of evidence. We have so much evidence to prove all of these different things that are here or there. They're all, everywhere you look is corruption and fraud. And we have tons of evidence, but we don't have enough courts. We don't have enough judges. Every time we turn around, we're having to go to the Supreme Court to prove that one of the judges is overstepping their bounds to stop the president from being able to send ICE in to arrest illegal people, criminals, rapists, robbers, thieves, all these different people that are just like what President Trump said. They opened their jails, they opened their mental institutions and sent these people. This probably even bust a lot of them, flew them in to get them out of their country, because that's not on their dime anymore. It's on ours, and they're raping us like crazy. We are spending so much money that could be spent on our people, our homeless, our mentally ill, our prisons, our jails. Put some actual child molesters and rapists and stuff in prison and build brand new jails with all the money that we could have if we weren't spending it on all this bullshit. But yet we have people that are willing to lay in the road and defend pedophiles And then they gripe at me saying, you're protecting Trump because he doesn't want to release the Epstein files because he's a pedophile. So you throw a fit over that, but then it's okay for these people to go lay in the street and stop ICE from arresting actual people they know are rapists and murderers. And guess what? They're even opening their jails and letting them back out on the street because they don't want to hand them over. It's pathetic. But yeah, you'll bitch and moan about that kind of stuff, but you don't talk about what these people are doing. That's where the problem is. That's where I don't see where something's not right. Something's not connecting, because it's okay for that guy to abuse and rape people, but not this person. He's hiding people, so he's worse. It's disgusting. I don't know how you guys live with yourselves. I don't know how you look in the mirror and think that what you say and the way you do that and the way you treat people because they're not saying exactly what you say makes you feel good. I hope it just makes you feel manly or whatever. I don't know what the fuck it is, but it's disgusting. That's all I can say. It doesn't make any sense. But let me see a couple of these real quick. We'll see. He got arrested, so we'll see. But the thing is, people see it. It's injustice, and people aren't going to put up with this shit. People are getting fed up. So we'll see. Yeah, that's it. But did they have dirt on you? Did they have dirt on me? No, because I haven't done anything. It's against the law. So guess what? I can hold them to a higher standard because I'm not a criminal. See, that's what you have to look at. Okay. And if you know you have a good sheriff and he's done certain things or whatever, get your sheriff to do it. Look in Florida, Sheriff Grady. He's constantly coming out and showing stuff. He showed, look at my state. I think it was last week or the week before I played on the shit show, the video of him saying, look at my state. You don't see people throwing fits because we're handing over prisoners, people we've already arrested for crimes. And guess what? He's in a car that he stole, and there's a guy sitting next to him in the car. Well, guess what? We're going to look into him too, because why would an innocent guy be riding along in a stolen car with a known criminal? Unless they're into criminal activity themselves. It's common sense. Wow, it's a superpower because so many people don't have common sense. It's scary to think about it, but that's where we are in this country. We have people that run around with their thumb up their ass, talking out of their ass, that don't know shit, and they blame and point their fingers at everybody else, that everyone else is wrong when they're the ones acting like idiots. So I don't know. I don't get it. But I think it's this one. Let me see. I'll open it and see if this is it or not. Okay. Yeah. Let me turn this up. Okay. It's ready. Here we go. All right. Here we go. I'll play this for you. It says investigators found thousands of vials of blood and tissue, genetically engineered mice designed to carry COVID. Tests showed the vials contained COVID, hepatitis, and malaria. Investigators linked the lab to the CCP. So China's involved.
New at 2, we're half past the hour, a possible biological lab inside a Las Vegas home, now under investigation. A federal investigation. Agents seizing vials of unknown liquids and probing a potential link to a Chinese national accused of running a similar lab in California that held deadly pathogens. Our senior national correspondent William Lajeunesse is reporting live on this out of Los Angeles for us. Hello, William.
Well, Sandra, two amazing things about this story. One, the man who owns that Vegas lab, he's a Chinese scientist linked to the CCP, is and has been in jail the last 3 years. Secondly, the lab is not an FDA licensed facility, but it's in a house in Vegas, raided Saturday morning by the FBI, SWAT pulling out boxes of what police believe are hazardous biological agents and pathogens, normally found in a secure university or industrial lab with airlocks designed to prevent an outbreak.
Mm-hmm. Almost immediately, investigators observed multiple refrigerators, a freezer, and other laboratory type equipment, along with numerous bottles and jugs containing unknown liquid substances.
So the Vegas lab, according to police, belongs to 62-year-old Zhu Baiju, a Chinese national and a fugitive who also goes by the alias David He. He was arrested in 2023 for manufacturing unlicensed medical devices and lying about unapproved HIV and pregnancy test kits that he was selling. He also operated this illicit biolab in an abandoned warehouse in Reedley, California, where investigators found thousands of vials of blood and tissue, 1,000 genetically engineered mice designed to carry the COVID virus, and CDC tests did show the vials contained HIV, COVID, hepatitis, herpes, and malaria. Police arrested Zhu, and he's been in jail ever since. Congressional investigators linked the lab to the Chinese Communist Party, a tie that also suggests the same people are behind the Vegas lab.
What do we think these people were doing with those substances in the house? And I'll tell you, the truth is we don't know yet.
So House investigators say Zhu got financing from mainland China to create dozens of companies here and Canada. He employed mostly Chinese nationals to steal American intellectual property and transfer it to China. His trial begins in April.
Scary shit. Who knows how many other people besides this person or this group of people have this all over, 1 or 2, 4, 10 in every state, and what pathogens they might have. It's scary to think about it. I mean, I feel the same way about nuclear stuff, nuclear waste, or bombs. Different things like that. We have no idea what came over our border or what the crooked people that hate this country and don't want Trump to be successful, or us, the people that believe in keeping our guns, keeping our rights, all the people like me that wanted to kill everyone because I wouldn't get the jab and I should go to a camp and they shouldn't give me a medical care because I'm a killer. I kill grandmas and I kill kids because I wouldn't get jabbed up. I'm a threat to these people. So someone like me is the first one they're going to get rid of. You know what I'm saying? That's like I said, I'll probably die on my front porch with my gun in my hand, protecting what I have, what little I have that's mine. I'm not trying to take anyone else's things. I just want to protect my stuff. That's it. I think I have the right to defend myself, my home, and things that I've worked for my whole life. I should have the right to do that, just like you should. But yet these people think they can do whatever they want. But just think about it. These people that had this could have went to any restaurant, put it in the buffet. You know, who knows? They could go and put it in the water supply. They could do any of this stuff, and they're everywhere. And that's why we should see more and more of this, because we actually have a government now that's trying to catch these people, that's trying to stop these people from doing these things. But you hardly hear about any of it. You hardly hear about all the children that are being rescued. That's why I try to share every time I can, 100, 200 kids that were saved, and or 10 kids and 10 people were arrested. You know, I want that on the news. That's the stuff I want to see on the news. I want to see all the headway we are making, instead of, oh, we're not doing anything. We're not even scratching the surface. Well, we are. Because as long as we're saving children, saving anyone, grandma, grandpa, anybody, and arresting one person a day, that's something. Okay? That's something in the right direction compared to what we were seeing before. Children getting chopped up, mutilated, kids pooping in litter boxes, because they're told that you can grow up and you can be 21 and graduate from college and be a kitty and get a job and whatever. I don't know what the fuck you're going to do when you're shitting in a litter box at your job. I mean, who's going to hire them? I mean, I just don't understand where they think any of this kind of shit helps our kids be able to take care of themselves when we're dead. When you die, your kid has to live without you, and you can't fix their problems for them anymore. You can't pay their way. You're gone. Your kids got to be able to cook and clean and dress themselves, pay their way, pay their bills, live somewhere, you know, go to the doctor, brush their teeth, go to the dentist, all these things. And who's going to teach them if it's not the parents? Is Hillary Clinton right? It takes a village to raise a kid. It's bullshit. You are a parent. It's your responsibility. If you give birth to a child, to feed it, clothe it, and teach it to be able to take care of itself one day on their own when they're old enough. That's what our responsibility is if we decide to have children of our own, is to try to give them the same advantage in life to be successful in some way to the best of your ability. That's what you owe a child, especially if you carry it in your body for 9 months and you eat right, you don't smoke, you don't drink, and you try to take care of yourself so that your kid's healthy, and then give it every advantage you could possibly give it. Teach it to walk, keep your house clean and safe from fire and, tax and poison and whatever else is around, because you love your kid and you want to see it be successful. Well, why would you think that some of these things that they're doing right now, taking your kid in 9-degree weather so you can stand out in front of ICE and stop them from arresting child rapists and murderers and criminals, but apparently your kid you don't love your kid enough to protect it from that, because you'd rather let them come to your house and live with you and your family. It's nuts. We have no common sense. Whoever their parents were, they did a shitty job, really shitty job, I feel. That's my point of view. That's my perspective on this. And that's all I'm doing, is trying to give this information, but with a little bit of my perspective on it. And I was going to share something that I saw that I was like, what does this mean? I wonder. But I thought it looked like it might be important. I'll share it with everyone, even though I'm not there. It's a security alert from the land border crossings. It's saying that they're letting everybody know that you need to get out of Iran. If you're in Iran, you should get out. So something's about to happen. So I just want to let you guys see this, and I will share the link. Let me copy that real quick so you can share it with anyone you know that might have someone that's in Iran that needs to get the hell out because something big is about to happen, or they're threatening to kill people or something that are Americans. So unless you can fit in really good, I recommend that you try to get out of there. So they wouldn't put that out there for nothing. Okay, let's see. Oh, I thought this was interesting. Yeah, we got some real winners out there, don't we? Portland police shoot, kill armed suspect who posed as a Secret Service agent. They had shell casings threatening President Trump. Boy, we got so many people that hate Trump. All I've seen Trump do is try to help our country. That's it. Get money back that we deserve, because we're the only. How many countries? Oh, let's ask you this. How many countries out there send us money? Pay us. We send millions and millions and millions of dollars to almost every country in the world for aid, for some type of help. And we have them coming to us in droves to live free, because we're paying their way for everything, except for the people that actually come here and fill out the paperwork, to apply for citizenship. Because guess what? They have to learn about the Constitution and our laws and learn English, because that's something that Trump did in an executive order, that English is now our official language. So we shouldn't be catering to all these other languages and be teaching forcing our kids to have to learn another language if they don't want to. Now, if you want to learn a language, you take the class and learn Spanish or French or, you know, whatever, German. You can speak any language you want because we do have schools that teach that. But we shouldn't be forced to have a teacher in a classroom that can speak 2 or 3 languages to teach the kids that are here illegal. You know, if they want to come here legally, let them fill out the paperwork and come here legally, like a lot of my ancestors did. It's ridiculous, all of this stuff. But take that down now. So let's go to the next thing. Let's see, what was this other one? Was it this one? Oh, okay. This one's pretty good. Let me bring this one up. Some more shit for the shit show. There's always tons of shit to share. But here, let me pause this and start it over again. So I'm going to just let this guy just talk and leave.
My journey into uncovering fraud in Minnesota and ultimately throughout the entire United States, as it turns out, began when I started to notice very unusual changes in the Minneapolis area. Remember, I grew up there, so I know Minneapolis very well. Most notably, the enormous number of childcare facilities that had opened up. I would drive around the Twin Cities, and it seemed these childcare facilities were literally on every block. Some blocks had 2 or 3 childcare facilities on the same block. Minnesota sees a fair amount of snow in the winter, and I began to notice driving by these childcare facilities, there were never any footprints in the snow outside these childcare facilities. And I'd go by them 3, 4, 5 times a day, Monday through Friday, because my office is in the heart of where a lot of these childcare facilities are. So I said, well, what's going on here with all these childcare facilities? So I began to check the Minnesota Secretary of State's website to find out just who owned all these childcare facilities. And guess what? Every single one of them was Somali owned. Not every childcare facility in Minnesota was, but the ones that I was looking at that were by my office, and there were a lot of them. What's even stranger is that every one of these facilities is located in a commercial or industrial building, no play areas, bad neighborhoods, and several of the childcare facilities had signage which stated they were open either 7 a.m. to 10 p.m., 2 p.m. to 10 p.m., Quality Learning Center, for example, or open 24 hours. Who the heck brings their kid to stay overnight at a childcare facility in a rough neighborhood? None of it made any sense. The Leering misspelling was the final straw for me. That's the spark that ignited my full-on investigation. So Minnesota has 2 different childcare licenses available. One covers 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., and the other one covers 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. They're 2 very different licenses. So for a childcare facility to be open 24 hours a day or even from 2 p.m. to 10 p.m., they need both licenses. How many of these facilities that are open these extended hours have 2 licenses? None of them. 0. They all have only 1 license. Minnesota child care supervision requirements include the following. For infant care, that's 0 to 17 months of age, you have to have 1 adult supervising for every 4 children, and max 8 in a group. For toddlers, which is 18 and 23 months of age, it requires 1 adult for every 5 children to supervise, max 10 children in that group. For 2-year-olds, you need 1 adult for every 7 children, so max 14 in a group. So if a child care facility was billing the state of Minnesota for 99 children, i.e. Quality Learning Center, that child care facility would need to have at least 8 employees supervising those children. These cannot be 1099 employees. They have to be W-2 employees. That means we're going to have at least 8 W-2s and we're going to have at least 8 I-9s. So if the feds went in and checked that, what do you think they're going to find? You already know the answer. One issue that is often brought up is that we are unfairly targeting the Somali community. This is a fair point to be made. As one Somali gentleman exclaimed in our second video, we're not the only community that does fraud. Fraud certainly exists in every community. It was the sheer volume and the blatant nature of the Somali fraud that demanded my attention. When one facility, Mako Childcare, has another childcare, mini childcare, registered at the same address, but the sign still says Mako Childcare, it kind of stands out. And again, no children, no footprints in the snow, ever. This is what I mean by being blatant. Misspelled signage, posted hours that require 2 licenses, no child footprints in the snow, not even once. So how did we arrive at this point? Why are we having this hearing? We got here because of politicians, almost exclusively Democrats. A couple of names come to mind. Jody Harpstead, the former commissioner of the Department of Human Services, and Shireen Gandhi, the current commissioner of the Minnesota Department of Human Services. Harpstead put the whole fraud on steroids. She was steering the ship from 2019 to 2025 during the COVID-19 pandemic. This is when the whole fraud network exploded into what we see nationally today, into what we see in my numbers, which are accurate. So now we hear that the Minnesota Department of Human Service is forging documents and backdating paperwork, all in an effort to cover up their complicity in this fraud. This is just more criminal behavior from the gang at the Minnesota Department of Human Services. It's criminal behavior. Minneapolis was the incubator for this nationwide fraud, which we're now seeing in Maine. We're seeing it in Washington State. We're seeing it in Columbus, Ohio. It was constructed here in Minneapolis. And the idea behind it was if you can get a population in here and fit them into this fraud framework, you have a guaranteed voting block for all eternity. The fraud was started and then it expanded out, and now you see it all around the country.
Yep, the truth. And what is awesome about this gentleman, this is a person just like me and you that was just a normal guy that was seeing something that he thought was messed up and started collecting the data. It took him a long time before he finally got anyone to actually pay attention to what he was doing. But he's made a huge difference. He's brought it out into the light where everybody can see it. But only the people that choose to actually listen to what he's saying, pay attention, are going to believe him. Because the side that doesn't want to believe that any of this fraud's happening, that it's all made up, it's all fake, because we hate our country so much, and we hate Somalis, and we hate everyone else so much that we just want to see them all suffer, that we're making up all this shit. See, that's what they believe. And you can't do anything about that. You can't do anything about people who don't want to believe when they see facts, okay? When a fact is proven to be lies or whatever, and there's nothing to back it up, like the whole PP dossier that collapsed when they started looking at it with a magnifying glass, like you're supposed to do when you go to court. You can't help people like that, okay? I've gone to court a few times, not for myself, but to be on jury duty, and sat and watched the process and stuff for civil and for federal. And it's very interesting the way that our stuff's set up. It's very, to me, it's done really well. If you have real people like me that's not paid off or whatever, or criminal, or being blackmailed or whatever, on a jury, your chances are really high that you're gonna get away and not be convicted of something if they don't have the evidence to prove that you're guilty. Okay, so I think that you're lucky. We're lucky to be in a country that actually has, where other people, not a judge or not a dictator or a mayor or whatever, is the one saying they're guilty and put you in jail. That you have to go through a system, and I think that's great. I think it's really set up really well to protect people. And earlier, I think it was Shadow and Son had said something to me about that people like me, even me, could be made to say something or do something wrong. Well, guess what? If I was going to be on a jury and they knew I was going to testify, or I was going to go to court and testify against someone, well, for one, I would do the best I could to be as honest as I could, and to remember everything I could possibly remember and answer the questions truthfully. If they came and told me or sent me a letter or called me and said they had my daughter and that they were going to kill her if I testified, guess what? They're probably going to kill her anyways. I would just pray to God and say, God, please take care of my daughter. And then I would testify anyways. So yes, I might be a horrible person because I'm not going to fold and lie to protect someone that I don't even know if they can protect her. There's no way that they can prove to me at that point that they haven't already killed her or what they're doing to my daughter. Right. So I'm still not going to do it. I'm going to pray to God, and hopefully God will help me, help my family. But I'm still going to do what I know I have to do is the right thing. And it's sad that so many people won't. And what's really bad is when they get someone because they set them up. They knew they were an alcoholic or they knew they were a drug dealer. Now this happened. A lot of this stuff already unfolded in the Arizona court system when they were doing the whole property fraud that they were doing. That they were saying that the governor, I can't remember what her name is. Damn it, I'm so bad with names. That she was forging her mother's name on documents. That whole thing that came up, and I remember watching a lot of that on different courts. You know, they were doing snippets and pieces of it on court TV, I think it was. But the thing is, what they were doing was the cartels were blackmailing people into judges, lawyers, and prosecutors, and things like that. But the way they did it was they knew whether this person had a drug habit or they were drinking or they were doing different things, and they would follow them. They send people to follow them around because they got money. They're cartel, right? So they follow them around and entrap them. Okay. And you can entrap someone who's already guilty. They're already doing things. They're sneaking around, cheating on their wife. They're alcoholics. They're sleeping with underage girls. They're picking up prostitutes, snorting coke. I mean, I don't know. I'm just saying, I'm using these examples. Then they take that and they get photos and proof and say, we're going to expose you to these people if you don't do this or sign this for us. We want this property, we want that property. So now they've signed this, and guess what? Now they're in even deeper. They're deeper and deeper and deeper. And every time they break the law and do more, they're so deep they can't get out. So the very best thing for any of you to do is if somebody approaches you and says, we got pictures of you cheating, or we got this, or we got that, just say, fuck you. Walk off and then go tell your wife the truth, or go turn yourself in and say, I've been snorting coke, or I'm embezzling from my church, or whatever it is that you're doing. You'll be best off for that, because then you're not dragging down everyone around you that you say you love and say you care about. And that's the only reason you lied or you did this and that. But no, what's going to happen is the little devil on your shoulder is going to say, oh, it's just one more time. You just have to do it this one time. You know, you can have all the babies you want. You can have all the children you want. That's the problem. It's because we have too many bad people that are in there and they won't step down because they don't want to give up that power that they have. That's the sad truth about it. And it's really sad. Yeah, the president doesn't make that much money. He really doesn't. It's not that much money. But they're not supposed to, because remember, way back when our country was first founded, they did their jobs. Okay, they came here, they did their stuff, and then they went back home, and they took care of their jobs, their plantations or their law firm or whatever it is, jobs that they had back then. So that's what they used to do. But now they've been able to make it in, well, we got to move to Washington, D.C., and we got to have a mansion, and we got to have this, and we got to have that. So how in the hell they even know what their people need anymore when they all move to Washington, D.C.? They're not living in the state. And the whole thing is, to me, we need to break it back down again. If you're a representative from the state of Arkansas, then you should represent Arkansas, which means you should live in Arkansas, be amongst the people in Arkansas, see the shitty roads in Arkansas, see the shitty schools or whatever it is. Then when you go back and to vote or do something and make to try to make a law, you actually leave with information from the state that you're representing. You see what I mean? That's common sense to me. But you being way over there in another state, how in the hell you even know what's going on here? Listening to a few people that run a store that you that paid for your campaign, that's not still representing the people of your state. So they got to figure out some way to get people back to the states where they belong, and then they go and they do something instead of sitting around twiddling their thumbs, going out to eat or playing golf or whatever it is in Washington, D.C. when they're not even in the state they're supposed to be taken care of. So I don't know. That's funny. So you talking about me? You thinking I'm snorting something? Well, guess what? I don't do drugs. I get allergy shots every 2 weeks, and I take vitamins. That's it. So if you're talking about me, tell me yes. Answer me, please. I'd appreciate that. Let's see. Okay, let me bring up my next thing, because you don't have to watch this show. You can leave anytime you want. So I'm not forcing you to be here against your will. You do have the right to leave any minute that you want. I take all kinds of vitamins, vitamin B, vitamin D, vitamin E, all that stuff. And I work out and I take care of myself and I drink water. And I don't even take ibuprofen because I'm allergic to ibuprofen. So I don't even take that. So I take as little medicine as I could possibly get away with. Hopefully I can stay that way. I wish most people could do that. But let's see. You're not going to answer whatever this name is I can't pronounce. So I don't know. Not going to answer me, I guess. Probably already left. But let's see. What was the next one I was going to bring up? Was it this one? No, that's not it. Oh, here you go. I think this is it. No, that's not it. But this one's pretty interesting. With all the people talking about the Epstein stuff, where they've been releasing more and more and more information. So this is Woody Allen. It's about Woody Allen, who appears throughout the Epstein files, abused his own stepdaughter when she was a child. And I remember my mom talking about something because she liked Mina Farrow as an actress. I'm trying to remember the name of the movie. I can't remember the name of the movie, but I remember my mom talking about her in this one movie and that she thought she was a good actress. It says, she's not only right, Woody, she walks around the house holding her vagina. She sleeps with me. She's scared of you and you hurt her. Just as her talking about her ex-husband. I guess they're not married anymore. But here this is the tape phone call that she released of Mina Farrow talking to her ex, which was Woody Allen, which is in the Epstein files. Now that more and more of that has been released. So there's so much of this kind of stuff going on. And I've mentioned it a few times. I've been on mini sets and I've seen, I don't know how many times, a parent whose child was supposed to be in a commercial or, some other event they were going to be doing, and they would drop their kid off and leave. Just hand them over to somebody. I would never do that. And I would tell everyone I know that they want to get their kids involved in it. Don't leave your kid. It'd be your mom, you, your sister, your husband, somebody. A child that's related to the child should always be with a child left on a set, period. Never leave your child unattended, ever. Never trust anybody. It's your child, for God's sakes. So that's one thing I'm going to say. But here we go.
Because you will not let me get. You have to squeeze me on that now. What you've done to Suni, what you've done to Dylan. What you've done to Dylan. Dylan's a baby. How could you do that to her? I don't know anything of the kind. I know what Dylan tells me. You've told me nothing but lies. Dylan tells the truth inconsistently. No, I don't know that, Woody. I've always been worried about you and Dylan. And I didn't know the doctor had to report this to the authorities. I didn't know that. I went just to be sure she was all right. And she's not all right, Woody. She walks around the house holding her vagina. She sleeps with me. She's scared of you. And you hurt her. I feel pretty guilty myself that I wasn't there to protect her. She said, Mama, you didn't help me. She said, Daddy, you shouldn't have done that. You shouldn't have hurt me like that. If you hurt her, you would weep inside. And you would just want to be dead. Because I don't know how you can live with what you did.
It's sad and it's heartbreaking when you hear that kind of stuff, but it happens every day. I've talked about this kind of stuff many times, and I've had my channel taken down because of it, because they don't like you sharing this kind of information, and people should know about it. People should know how prevalent it is. One of my number one documentaries that I try to share with people and get people to watch, it's called The Eyes of the Devil, and it's about actual brothels. It's about 4 different brothels with children 10 and under in it. It's I bawled my eyes out. It took me 4 days to watch the whole thing. It was horrible, but it happens. And that's why I get so upset when I see these people standing in front of police officers, ICE agents, or whatever, that are trying to get rid of criminals that have raped people. They're let out of jail in a state that is a sanctuary state to prey on your kids in your state, but you'll try to stop the police from being able to arrest those people. I've seen what these people do to kids and young women, young boys too. People always try to say the young girls. It's not just girls. It's mostly, honestly, it's mostly boys. Hate to say that, but it's true. And it's disgusting. And I think every person that does anything like this to a kid should be in prison, period. They should never be out of prison, because guess what? I don't think you can't fix someone. Once someone's done that to a kid, they'll never stop doing it. They'll never stop doing it. And then you have people that say, get him a doll. Get him one of those real dolls. That's a kid. How is that supposed to make them better? Oh, well, they won't hurt a real kid. That's bullshit. They fantasize it being real, and it's sick and gross. And anyone that pushes that kind of shit is sick too. And yes, I fight for the victims, period. So I look for corruption on both sides. Yes, but I use evidence. I don't just say, oh, my feelings think that person should do this and that person should do that. Just like I said, I have been in juries, and I have sit in court and waited for a month on the jury pool and had to listen to different things and listen to questions asked in court. And I understand a lot of this stuff. And I've had one of my own family members go through this whole thing when it comes to being abused underage. So yes, I do. And I'm very adamant about it. And I've talked about it many times on lots of my shows. You can go back and watch some of them if you want, but I doubt you will, because most people aren't interested in real truth. They just want to throw accusations around. And like that one guy earlier about me sniffing stuff, and he wouldn't answer me if he's talking about me. But yet it makes them feel manly when you're on a keyboard typing shit, right? Yeah, it makes you feel, yeah, look at me. I can be mean. I can be a dick. I can be mean to people. And they can't do anything because they're helpless behind it. I'm here. I'm the master of the keyboard. Yeah. What a macho person you are. You should be so proud of yourself when you get to do that kind of stuff to people. Yeah. You don't have much of a life. That's all you have. But this next thing I wanted to bring up has to do with what we just were looking at. It's about some of this new stuff that's come out. And I'm going to also share in the chat the Department of Justice's website, where you yourself, if you're really interested in truth and facts, to go to the DOJ's website and download as many of the files as you want and read them. It's got all these names, like I just showed you. Woody's name was in there. You've got Gates's name in there, Prince Andrew's name, and bunches of people you're not going to recognize. But guess what? They got money. Epstein didn't deal with anyone that didn't have money. Okay. He wanted landowners, yacht owners, people that had money. And a lot of things happened on his New Mexico ranch that no one talks about. I've played a couple of documentaries and did a couple shows talking about the Epstein's victims, Guthrie, and I can't remember the other girl's name. Damn, I hate that when I do that. But because that's who should be listening to, the victims. What are they saying? Does anybody care about them? I don't hear any of you guys, the ones that are bitching and moaning about the Epstein files, out there sharing the victims' videos of them talking about who assaulted them, where they were they on the plane? Were they on the island? Were they in New York? Or were they at the New Mexico ranch? Okay. And who was there when they were there? That kind of stuff. Share that stuff. I do. I've gotten my channel taken down multiple times because of it. So I'm not afraid to do that. I've done it. I'm not making money. They haven't bought me because they don't tell me what I can do and what I can't do. They take my channel down, then I'll put it on Rumble, or I'll put it on X, or I'll put it on TikTok, or I'll put it on one of my other channels, Kick. I'll put it on whatever channel I can get it up there because I want someone to read it. Now, if you don't want to read it, that's fine. I don't care. You don't have to read anything I post. You don't have to watch anything I say. I'm not making you. You either do it or you don't. All I can do that makes me feel like I'm doing something is put it out there. Share the links with you. I try to share as many links as I can of stuff that I show so that you can go and get more information if you want, if you're really interested in what I'm sharing or what the person is sharing. Because if you want to know, you can get it. It's out there. You just have to take a few minutes out of your life behind the keyboard, feeling like a warrior, and read and research it yourself. But this is interesting. This whole thing about the documents that I just shared that have been released on the Department of Justice website says the DOJ just released thousands of pages from the Epstein files. I mean, lots. I mean, I'm telling you, it's huge files of stuff. And buried inside them may be one of the biggest bombshells no one is talking about. The blueprint for a 20-year financial architecture designed to turn pandemics into a profit. Okay. One of the things, one of the victims that I played, it was on After Hours a couple weeks back. Guthrie was one of the victims that I played some of her stuff, and then it was another one, and I can't remember her name right this minute, but it's on my After Hours show. It says the victims of Epstein, and she talks about being at the New Mexico ranch and that they were using her and other young women for science experiments. They were taking skin samples. They were doing other odd scientific things to them, to the girls. And it was Bill Gates was one of the people there. So a lot of stuff was going on besides just somebody getting their jollies off, like what Andrew was doing, stuff like that. There was other bizarre shit going on there besides just people getting their rocks off in the pool or whatever, like Bill Clinton. Ugh. that kind of nasty shit. But that's why it's important to look for the victims, any interviews that they've done, any podcasts that they've done, any papers that they've put out. Go and read them. If you really want to hear from the victims, but what they say happened to them, go listen to them, the actual victims. And she also said that I don't know how many of the victims she said that were included, but like they were paid like $200 million. It just spread out between a lot of the victims by Epstein's brother for payout or whatever, and they signed non-disclosures and stuff like that. So that's why a lot of them aren't speaking out or took a settlement. And normally if you do something and you sign a non-disclosure and you take a settlement, you took money instead of seeing the person go to prison, it's out of your hands then. That's why I said go read, go research, go see what information you can get from these documents they're letting out, what we can do. That's why I've said over and over and over again, go to Ghislaine Maxwell's trial and get those documents unsealed. Because if there was enough evidence in there to put her in prison for trafficking, whoever else was involved, there should be the same evidence being able to be used against them, wouldn't you think? So get that liberal judge to unseal those documents, and there you go. You got a bunch of evidence that was used in court already to prosecute people. It's that simple. But I don't hear the left screaming their head off about releasing those documents from the case. So, can't do anything about that. But I talk about it. I wish somebody would do something about it. I would love it. I started a platform so I can share information and try to get information out there. That's why I tell these people, what are you doing? Have you gone to read any of the statements from the victims? That type of stuff. That's all we can do. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. Who do you think's using keyboard? There's keyboards on phones, there's keyboards for computers, there's keyboards also on iPads. Are you using a microphone just to talk and let it type for you? Is that, or are you typing that yourself? There you go. Well, didn't get an answer. I'm not letting them get me down. It's all right. Big deal. I'll survive. I've gotten tons of hate off of my channel. So this one night, and it's usually on Friday night or on my posts on my YouTube channel that I get the most hate. So, that gives all these dweebs something to do, I guess. Look her up and see what we can do. But let me see what Hardwick is saying. Really? I hope so. Awesome. Yeah, it's just, the whole thing is bizarre. It just doesn't make sense. And I saw a bunch of people earlier today saying that her husband was involved with the Clintons and a whole bunch of stuff. And I was thinking, how I always say I don't like the Clintons. Well, I don't. Okay, and I think they're criminals, and I think they've broke the law on many levels. But this is this. Okay, this is an older woman. Okay, why risk kidnapping her and getting your fingers in there or leaving a trail to you when, if you really wanted to get rid of her, you could have just gave her something to make her look like she had a stroke. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I don't really think the Clintons are involved in whatever's going on with this, because if the way that they were wording it, saying that they thought the Clintons kidnapped her to keep her from being able to testify or whatever to Congress or something, I don't know, some dumb stuff like that, which I don't believe, because taking somebody from their home and trying to do stuff leaves a trail. There's evidence left behind. I don't care who you are, you're always going to leave evidence. Okay. So the fact that they could have just, put something in her drink or something, I don't know, could have done any of that stuff. But wow, look at this macho guy. Woohoo! How do you know? Did you sleep with him yourself? I'd like to know. Inquiring minds want to know. Did you sleep with him? Is that how you know he's gay? Is he gay happy, or is he gay, like, leaning towards liking guys or whatever? I mean, you can give us the answer for that, since you had to make another profile to jump in and hound me because you're so bored. Your life must be just so boring. I feel sorry for you. Really do. So many of these people. 6 times I've had to ban this person for stupid shit. I mean, must be nice to just have nothing to do besides make profiles on YouTube so you could harass people. Pretty pathetic. Okay, well, let me go to the next thing as I did that. Let's see. Give me 1 second. Let me see. I got a couple more things. Oh, this is interesting. I thought this was pretty interesting. And we're paying for this also. So it's the right scope. It's this one. Pretty sure. For some reason my picture disappears and I just get a black screen, so I don't know if I'm clicking on the right thing or not. I don't know why that happens. Okay. This woman is a realtor in Minnesota, and she was talking about it's coming out that Somalis buy homes in Minnesota to use as home care, and they sit empty. They bill the state for millions of dollars a year. Now, this is why I know other people are involved, people that were already here, Americans, okay? Because a person that lives over there, they have a dirt floor and, barely have, they don't have Walmarts, they don't have, cars, and they're driving around, going to school and doing all the things that we do in America, right? But they come here and they're smart enough to think about, I'm going to buy this house and then I'm going to pretend that I have people in there and I'm caring for them and bilk the government money. See, I don't think that. I think somebody that was already here in the know of government brought specific people here to do this fraud with, because they knew that these people would just be so happy to be here and have a place to live and to raise their kids somewhere that's not where they were at. You see what I'm saying? And they're using those people as slaves to get away with this kind of stuff with millions. And they're the ones buying diamonds and nice cars and yachts and taking trips, all on our dime because of our taxes that we paid so they could bilk us out of money. That's what I think. And that's the people I want to see get arrested. But I'm going to share this real quick, her video. So here we go.
Here in Minnesota, a local realtor reached out to me to tell me about another way that Somalians are scamming Minnesotans out of their taxpayer dollars. In her community alone, Somalians have bought up over 455 homes. They buy these homes, claiming they're turning these homes into home health care centers. She says the way we know Somalians have bought these homes is because all of a sudden, extremely nice cars start showing up. Mercedes, BMWs, the nicest cars are parked in the driveway. And she said, by law, the state will not come out and inspect these homes and make sure these homes even have clients living in these homes. She also said, as a realtor, she cannot disclose to people wanting to buy homes in this neighborhood that Somalians have bought that home and they're using that as a home health care center. She said these homes can even take people in who've just been released from jail, and the neighborhood does not need to know about this. But she says many of these homes do not even have clients in them, but the state is writing them checks every month for the clients that the Somalians say are in these homes. And these Somalians are making millions of dollars off of these homes every year. The Somalians have figured out exactly the perfect plan as to how to scam Minnesota taxpayers out of their money. They are banking on this, making millions of dollars. And the government here in Minnesota is too lazy, to go and check it out and to see if there's even clients living in these homes. The fraud in Minnesota is so deep. Let me know your thoughts on this one.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. It's pretty pathetic. Well, I just read something that Hardwick posted. I think it was this. Yeah, okay. Earlier, I think it was maybe 2 months ago, maybe 3 months ago. Remember on one of the episodes, I played a video of a gentleman on TikTok, and he was talking about how you could download the files and then open them. I don't remember, in a certain program, copy it, even though they're redacted, with the blackout on it, and then paste it to another page, and then they wouldn't be blacked out anymore, to show you who's on the documents. So I don't remember which episode it is, but if I remember, I'll try to go back and find that video, because my notes I keep on my computer. I just delete them. I don't keep them. I just keep them on during the show so I can share the link, copy and paste the link like that as I go through each of the posted things. But remember, I did that. But I'm sure if you typed it in on Google, you could find out what program they used to take them. Because remember, he said he thought that Trump was a genius, because when they started releasing them, people were moaning and bitching about it being redacted. They couldn't read anything. Well, he said, well, all you got to do is copy it, paste it on this other thing. And when you do that, the blackout stuff's not there, or something like that. He was explaining how to do that in that one thing. So that's what I would do. I would Google that and try to figure out how to do it. Well, not Google. I'd go to you have to go way down, because if anything at the very top is going to be all stuff that they want you to see. So you want to go down, like 2 pages down, and start seeing the stuff that they don't really care or really want you to see, but is there if you're eager enough to look it up. I don't know. I can't remember. It says only some of the files from some of the earlier dumps can be unredacted. Okay. All right. You might be right with that. I don't know. Maybe they fixed it afterward, but it still has a shit ton of names on those, because it was funny, because remember, he was going down the list and saying, oh, wow, I can't believe you're not higher on the list, or whatever, making fun of some of the people that were unredacted because the way they copied and pasted or whatever. So I don't know, but hopefully it'll all get put out like that, because why not? If you just listen to the victims, they'll tell you who was there themselves. And that's why I tell people, go research, get on the internet and start looking up Epstein's victims that are talking and have made videos and gone out on podcasts and everything, and listen to what they say. Listen to what they say happened to them at the ranch, or at the New York apartment, or at the island, or on the plane. They'll tell you. So, and who was there, and how many girls were there with them, whether they were by themselves, and how many of them asked for island boys, not girls, stuff like that. There's tons of information out there if you want it. It's just that I just don't understand. If you want the truth, why wouldn't you go to the victims first? That's, to me, that makes the best sense. Go to the victims. And thank you, Hardwick, for being my first member of my channel. So I think it's awesome. It says your name is like real pretty in green, and it's got like a little badge next to it. I think it's neat. But there's so much out there if people would just try to go find it. I mean, you just got to dig around and look for it, just like anybody else would. But some people want to and some people don't. So if you got time to go and make 15 different profiles on YouTube, you'd think that you'd have time to actually look up some facts for yourself, instead of writing people that you think are full of hot air. But that's fine. If you're that bored, you don't have anything else to do, I'll just keep kicking you out, and you can keep coming back. But I thought this was interesting. As John Solomon reports, he says, grab the popcorn, kids. It's finally happening. Looking into the fraud in Georgia and Arizona. Seriously, why didn't Christopher ratty look into this. So here we go. I'm going to play his video for you.
We're told by Chris Wray and other officials after the 2020 election, we had a perfect election. There were no major foreign intrusions or foreign attempted intrusions in the 2020 election. I pretty quickly debunked that about a year later when I reported that Iran actually had hacked into a battleground states registration system and downloaded more than 100,000 identities and was using them. Eventually, 2 guys got indicted in Manhattan. That's a really significant intrusion. That was not what Chris Wray told us. Then we learned from Kash Patel a couple of months ago that China was sending driver's licenses into the United States in 2020 in hopes that they could be used to create fake ballot registrations. That is a second really significant intrusion. Both of those are run contrary to what Chris Wray and other Homeland Security officials gave us as statements during the time. I believe that the President of the United States is soon going to be briefed by Tulsi Gabbard and other intelligence officials based on my reporting about additional intrusions, significant large-scale intrusions into various forms of our election system. Now, I'm not talking about getting a machine and flipping the vote, but maybe getting enough of state voter databases that a foreign power could work with people on the ground in the United States to fill out fake registrations for people who are on dirty voter rolls. Those licenses that were sent into Chicago were going to be used to make absentee ballot applications, according to the FBI predicate. By the way, Chris Wray's FBI didn't look at that. They shut it down. If a foreign power was that far into the election databases of state systems that they could figure out what driver's licenses to send here, the next question becomes, who were they working with on the ground? Who was going to file those ballot requests? I think that's why Tulsi Gabbard was down in Georgia, why you might see her in Arizona, why the FBI will probably be in Arizona, and why the president's about to get a briefing. And all of this new information could have a profound effect on the Save America Act, which is, all right, some people say it feels like we're doing an awful lot. There's not a real problem. These next revelations, if the president were to declassify them after he gets debriefed on them in the next few days, they could educate senators and House members and give them a greater inspiration to maybe go ahead and do the voter ID and the citizenship check. That is a big moment. Tulsi Gabbard and Kash Patel and Pam Bondi are driving this. It's been below the radar, but they're doing some really big stuff. Now the president's going to find out what it is. And then at that point, the opportunity comes to declassify it. Let's see what it is. There's one other element to this. If government officials lied to us after the 2020 election, there's still an opportunity in some of those cases to pursue criminal cases against them. We'll see where it all comes out, but that's what's going on in the background of the Save America Act debate right now.
John, if you were in studio right now, I would hug you. You just kind of hit rewind. Hit rewind for 1 minute. As you remember,
sure,
better than anybody, we spent, I think, half of 2021 in the great state of Arizona on this issue. And I know the Arizona Patriots. Just give me a 1 minute summary. When you said the word Arizona, and we're already in Georgia, just give me the 1 minute summary of Arizona, because I know there's so many War Room posse members from the great state of Arizona have been waiting for something to say, hey, what we did, we're not wasting our time. This is actually being reviewed by senior authority. What do you got again?
Yeah, again, I don't think election machines were flipping ballot counts and things like that. I think that the actual way that the elections were administered were in violation of state law. And this is very important. The laws that the Democratic Party created during the Civil Rights Movement and the Great Voting Rights Act movement of the 1960s, something that all Americans are proud of, they still apply today. And those laws say you must, if you're an election administrator, conduct the election consistent with your state rules so that everybody has equal protection in your state. If Georgia and Arizona didn't do that, if Fulton County and Maricopa County did things that were in violation of state law that created an unfair or unequal election, they can be prosecuted under the Voting Rights Act and other civil liberty laws for that. I think that's where it's going, that you can't just change your state procedures in violation of your law because that's what you want to do during a pandemic. That could create criminal cases against election administrators. And I think that when you look at the search warrant that I got to see from Fulton County this past week, those are the laws that Kash Patel's team cited. State officials not following their law and therefore creating a fraudulent election. That's where those two states are being examined.
Yeah. That's pretty interesting. So we will soon find out, won't we, about what they're going to do and what's really going to happen. I want to see some people prosecuted for defrauding the American citizens, because if we had our rights taken away from us, for like the right to vote for who we want, just like we did for Obama, just like we did for the Clintons, for Ronald Reagan, or for any other president that's ever been elected, and that was taken away from us. The scary thing for me is the fact that we don't have precedent for it. We don't have any. It's never happened that I know of. So how we go about, trying to make sure people are held accountable, I'm not sure how we're going to do it, but hopefully we will, somehow work through it and figure out how we're going to go about it. But I want to share this because this is another Sean Ryan thing, but he's interviewing Nick Shirley. So I thought it was interesting. I'll go ahead and let you listen. It's only like a minute.
You'll notice the first thing they say is MAGA YouTuber, right-wing influencer, conservative, anti-Islam, anti-immigration, which, yes, I am anti-illegal immigration. The word's illegal. Anything but journalist.
All the buzzwords.
I'm like, you guys are so stupid. You have the opportunity to maybe show people you're a little bit more legit, to call me a fascist, to call me... They're trying to do everything they can, so when the moment somebody tries to do something, it's justifiable for them.
I hate to say it like this, but it's actually kind of cool that they've gone through every derogatory name that they can think of, and they've abused it so much that none of it holds any weight anymore. Which also sucks, because somebody that actually is a racist, it's not going to carry the same weight.
Somebody told me once, the moment somebody calls you is the moment you can discredit them for whatever they're about to say next. How can you call me?
It's a damn good point.
You'll notice the first thing they say.
And what's sad is that one of the reasons why I pulled this is because this happens to me a lot. I get called a racist. I'm a Nazi. I got my head up Trump's ass. I'm sucking Trump's dick. God, I can't even tell you, because remember now when I voted against Hillary Clinton, in my state against other people for different things, or against Bill Clinton, I got hate too. Okay, I had a bumper sticker that I had bought, and I put it on my mother's car, and people kept peeling it off, and it said, "I'm proud I didn't vote for the dope from Hope." So many people hated that, but they would violate my mother's rights and touch my mother's vehicle and peel this bumper sticker off every time I put a new one. I must have bought 25 different ones that said the same thing. But the thing is, what's sad is one day someone could shoot me or slit my throat or rape me and murder me in my own home and say, well, she was a right-wing fascist, Nazi, bigot, whatever names they want to add to it. And a lot of people would be clapping. Yay, got rid of the slut, whore, bitch, cunt, whatever you want to call me, and they would kill me. And a lot of people would cheer that on when I have never, ever advocated for anyone to attack anyone that thought differently than me. But they are the first side to leap toward hurting other people, to damaging their property, to hurting them, beating them, clubbing them, starving them, poisoning them, harassing them, anything that you can do to someone else because they have a different point of view than you do. Okay, I'm not a Muslim. Okay, I'm a Christian, but I would never tell anyone to attack someone because they're a Muslim. But yet I hear Muslims attacking people like me because guess what? I'm a Christian and I have a dog. So I want to walk my dog. Guess what? you need to kill her because she eats pork and she has a dog, which is unclean, and dogs should not be pets. Like ever since I showed that video showing this Muslim attack a man, stab him 40 times because he was walking his dog and he was offended by it. See, if a person can't move to another country and they bring their hate and their point of view there, and they go against the law and kill someone because they don't agree, why did they move there? Okay. If you hate freedom, you hate the fact that I can own a weapon to defend myself in my own home. Okay. Why are you coming here and trying to take that from me? Stay where you are and keep your crappy choices to yourself. You know, I'm not asking you to come here and assault me, because I'm not assaulting you. If you believe in communism, live in your communist country and keep it there. I don't want communism here. I want every child that I'll never see, that hasn't even been born yet, to be able to be born debt-free, to be able to grow up and be a kid as long as possible, which means not be assaulted by an adult against their will. And then I also agree that that child should be able to fall in love, go to school, get a career, whatever it is they choose to do, be a magician, be a painter, build houses, become an accountant, whatever it is they decide to do, be able to fall in love, get married, have family of their own, and have their own home, and be able to walk their kid to school, go to the park, and do all those things without being harassed. I don't care if one's black and one's white. I don't care. I have no care about that. I don't even care if it's a gay couple, because I have lots of gay friends. I don't hate you because you're gay. But you shouldn't tell me that I'm a horrible, terrible person because I'm not gay, or because, you know, I'm not black, or I'm not Hispanic, or whatever it is that's different than you. But if you grow up and you are a good person, you don't break the law, you get your driver's license, you do everything right, and you get a job and you pay your taxes and you buy a house and you do all these things, you should have the right to have the money in the bank and be able to take the money out, go on a vacation with it, buy a ski-doo with it if you want, an RV. It's your freaking money. That's what I'm trying to say. No one should have the right to take that money from you and pay another person to live over there and do nothing and not even be a citizen of this country. But if you come here and you expect to get free shit and not assimilate, not become a citizen, and not learn our Constitution, not do all those things, then I don't want you here. You're not here for America. You're not here to make America better. You're here to tear America down and turn it into something it isn't. If you go against the Constitution, then I don't want you here. And I have the right to say that. I'm an American and I have free speech. And I've also went to took classes and passed my test to be able to own a weapon of my own. I did all legally. I got my driver's license. I pay my taxes. I do all the things I'm supposed to do. Yeah, it's a pain in the ass sometimes, but guess what? I don't break the law. I wear my seatbelt. I do the best I can to follow all the laws. So, and I wish everyone would do that. Because if you're going to treat me with respect, guess what? I'm going to treat you with respect. I open doors for people. I say, hi, how are you doing? It has nothing to do with anything, because I get nothing from it besides me knowing I'm being nice to someone. Guess what? That brings me joy. When I make someone else smile, when I see someone and I wave or I smile at them and they smile back at me, it makes me feel good. And I think about it all day. Oh, I hope they had a good day. I hope they really have a good day. I hope they feel better or whatever, because I actually give a shit about people. So, you know, it's so sad to see so many miserable people that just want to hurt other people because they're miserable. You know what I mean? I feel sorry for those people. I really do. But, you know, I can't do anything for them. They have to help themselves. You know, I hate to say that, but a lot of people need to work for themselves to make themselves happier. I mean, if you're sickly, you try to get information about what I need to do to make myself better. You know, do I need to lose weight? Do I need to work out? Do I need to start walking around my house? I mean, I've had a couple of young people that I was talking to that had weight problems. And the first thing I did was say, just try getting up and walking around the house. And then every day, try to do it every hour. Get up and walk around the house every hour. And then after you've done that, go outside and walk around the house if the weather's, you know, permittable. Walk down to your driveway and check your mail. Or, you know, go out and sweep the porch. Little things like that to build up their stamina so that they can actually do a little more and do a little more. Instead of taking the elevator, walk up one of the flights of stairs instead. Stuff like that. Little things. Start small. The problem that most people have is they bite off more than they can chew. They go, oh, I'm going to lose 50 pounds in a month. Well, that's impossible. You know, that's stupid. Do it in small increments. Start off by saying you're not going to lose any weight. You're just going to build up your strength to where you're not going because you walked to the car and got your groceries and brought them in the house. You know, things like that. Look in the mirror every day and say, I love me. Make your bed. That's one thing my dad always did with us since we were military kids. He'd get us up and he'd say, make your bed. Because if you make your bed every morning, even though it's just a bed, you've accomplished something already. You've already done something. So tonight, when you go to get in it, guess what? It's nice and clean. You pull it up and you put your feet in, and slide it in. It's crisp and snuggy in there. And all because you made it the first thing in the morning to accomplish something. Little things like that for yourself. Do it for you, you know. Do things for yourself. Don't you deserve it? You know, make a special sandwich for you for tomorrow for lunch. You know, your favorite. Even if it's a peanut butter and what is that, marshmallow fluff. Every so often I'll do that. Even though I know it's not really good for me, I'll do that because guess what? I deserve a treat. There's nothing wrong with splurging every so often for yourself. And guess what? If you splurge every so often, you're less likely to cheat. And you're more likely to say, yeah, I earned it this week. I did this, this, and this, and I did everything I was supposed to. I drank this many glasses of water, whatever it is that you set for yourself, and say, well, I'm going to eat these 5 Hershey's Kisses while I watch this movie. Give yourself a treat. There's nothing wrong with that. Be good to you. Take care of you first. So, yeah, sure. He did say that, didn't he? Show me. Put a link. Put me a link in the chat so I can share it. And hopefully it's real. It's not just something that someone cut up and made it say whatever they want, because you know that they can do that today. So if you think that's true, share the link with me. Here, let me get my email and I'll put it in. You can send it to my email and I'll show it on the show if it's true. Once I get the right people to look at it and make sure it's not fake, I will share it because I have computer people that I know that would be happy to do it. So share it. There's my email, sir. Or whoever you are, smile. It helps. Show me. I'll be happy to look at it. And I'll share it if it's real. But I can tell you right now, I've seen Trump with troops police officers and firemen. I've never seen them be disrespectful to any of them, not one time. And I've watched thousands and thousands of videos. So I'd like to see this one that you say he says that shit, because I don't believe you. But prove me wrong. Send it to my email and let it be real. Because if it isn't real, I'm going to share it on my show, and I'm going to use your name, the name that's in this chat right here. And I'm going to say, this guy sent me this and he said this, because I have this on recording now on the show. And I'm going to say, this person's sharing an AI fake edited video. So it better be true, better be real, or I'm going to share it and share your name, whatever, even I know that's not your real name, whatever it is, but I'll make sure that it gets out there for you, since you seem to want to know that so much. So hopefully you will. But here's something I wanted to share, because the news doesn't share this shit with anyone. They just share nothing, basically nothing worth anything. But I'm going to share this because I thought it was very interesting. I already did this one. Darn it, that's not the one. I clicked on the wrong thing. Hold on. Shit, I clicked on the wrong thing. I'm not really good at this yet. But not that one. Oh, here it is. All right. It's Milla. I clicked on the wrong one. It's the one next to it. Okay. This is what I wanted to share. All right. This is from Doge. Okay. You can still go to the Doge website, Department of Government Efficiency, and you can look at all kinds of stuff that they found. But this was Milla Joy made this up for you so you could see it in easy terms for people that don't want to research or look up anything. You can just look at this, and she's got the numbers. They finished their cleanup of the Social Security, and they've removed a whopping 12.3 million scammers. Okay, these are people that were scamming you and I, the taxpayer, through the Social Security system by getting checks. If each fraudulent person was making about $1,800 a month. Think about that. Every month they were getting a check, knowing that they shouldn't get this check. That's fraud. And I think all of these people should be arrested, don't you? I do. But we need good judges to be able to do that. But I think all these people should be arrested and serve time, because I guarantee they spent the money. They're not going to be able to put the money back, and they're probably, or unless they have a mansion or whatever, we can sell their mansion or their home or whatever. I said they just saved us a shit ton of money a month. But look at this: the age that some of these fake people were that were getting checks were 120 to 169 years old. But look how many, and they were dead. This is how many of them were actually dead, the names that they used, and what their age was, and they were getting a check. So it's not just these people that were cashing the checks that we have to be upset with. What about the people that were not making sure that these people were still alive? These people should be evaluated every year. You know what I mean? If you're on Social Security, you should have to prove you're still alive every year to keep getting a check. And that way, if you can prove it's you and you're getting a check, that we know that they're still alive. Okay, so they should get the check, because don't they increase the money or something? I don't know how it works. I don't get Social Security. But these people, people were 169 years old. They were getting a check every month to whoever it was that was taking and cashing it. So I think it's pathetic. I think it's terrible. But thank God, look how much money we saved just from this one fraud scam. Just from this. Just people that were frauding you and I by taking a check they knew wasn't for them. I have a sister that's taking care of my father. Okay. And she has 4 sisters. Okay, so I have 4 sisters. So there's 5 of us girls, and we have 1 dad. And our dad is getting a check every month for Social Security. Well, when he dies, what you're supposed to do is you take the death certificate and you submit it to the Social Security people to let them know, and all the other people. That's why you get copies of it. You send it to their bank, and you send it to the other people that they're supposedly making money from or whatever, to let them know that they've passed on. Then it goes to their will and whatever else, and however they do all that stuff. But legally, okay, if my sister said, well, I'm going to keep taking his checks, I would say, no, you're not. Because then you're making our dad look bad. You're making him look like he's stealing from the government, which he's not, because he's not alive. He's not there to defend himself. So all the people who they were using, real people that were on Social Security at one time, getting a check, apparently, they're defrauding them and their families, ancestors or whatever, and the taxpayers that are still paying in money that aren't going to get money because this person's been getting a check for over 169 years, because they probably didn't live to be 100. But that's a long time to be getting a paycheck. So whoever took over, I mean, let's say that they died 50 years ago, and this family or whoever in this group has been getting a check for 50 years of $1,500 a month. That's a lot of money that's not in the system anymore because these people stole from it. So you are going to work, you're 50 now, and you've been putting money in out of your check for as long as you've been working. And these people have been stealing from it. The setup that you may not be able to get now when you turn, 68, something like that. You may not be able to use Social Security because it'd be bankrupt because of these assholes. Just these few people right here, knowingly taking checks that they knew were not theirs because they were not collecting Social Security. But then let's say they did get their checks, and then they did retire, and they did get old enough to be able to apply for Social Security, and they're getting their own check. So they're getting their own check and other people's checks and living off of that. Probably going to casino, who knows what the hell they're doing. But you're not doing that because you don't have the money, because you're getting barely anything, trying to make it to be able old enough to even get your little bit of Social Security. And so I think Social Security was even set up just so that you would get be able to buy your medicines and things like that. I think that's one of the reasons why. I'd have to look that up because I don't really know for sure. I don't know. And they probably won't even have it anymore. But it might now that they've tried to stop it from being used by so many fraudsters. But the fact that they were able to do this, to me, is just mind-boggling that we were able to do it. I'm thankful that we did it. Now, if we can keep people in office that work at the Social Security office, that know that each year they need to go through their whole list of whoever's on their list and make sure they're still alive, check in on them to make sure they're still a living person. And if they're not, ask the family to please send you, the person that works there, a death certificate to prove that they're not around anymore, so that you can keep the system balanced out like it's supposed to be. But what's really sad is how many people pay in for, let's say, 30 years, whatever. I don't know how much they take out of your check. I'd have to go look at one of my check stubs. That's been a long time since now that we have automatic, draft or whatever. That never make it to retirement to even apply to get it. You die in a car accident or you die from a health problem. So you never do apply. So all the money that should be in the system that's extra from people who paid in but never claimed it because they died too soon, these people that did all this fraud stole that money. See, that should make every person that is working, paying Social Security out of their check, pissed off and want to see every one of these people held accountable. But some of them are like some of the keyboard warriors that we've seen tonight in my chat. They're more angry at me because of what a few things I might have said that they didn't like than wanting to get even with these people for actually stealing from them. See, that's what I don't understand. I want to see these people, and I don't even get Social Security yet. You know, I haven't gotten a single check from Social Security, but I want everyone out there that's supposed to get it because you worked your fucking ass off and they took money out of your check for you to be able to apply for this. And now these assholes have been taking it from you. Okay. These are the people you should be pissed off at. You know, with common sense, but oh well. But that was one of the things I thought was important. I wanted to share with you. So now I'm gonna get rid of this. So now I think I got one thing left. Oh yeah, this was the one thing I was gonna play before I closed out. It was a video that Trump put out, and I think it was a few people bitching and moaning about it, but I thought it was interesting. I thought it was an interesting video, and basically, I knew it wasn't a real videotape of actual stuff happening. Okay, but it's like when you watch a documentary and they take bits and pieces of stuff and they have actors that come in and act it out so you understand what the process is or whatever's happening. That's why I thought this was interesting. So I'm going to play this before we close out so you can kind of get an idea of what happened and see what you think about it, because someone else made this and sent it to him, I'm sure, but I'm going to play it. It's only, let's see, how long is it? Let me stop. Let me stop.
Software dominion machine.
Let me stop it. I got to start it over again. I am so sorry. I wasn't on the other screen. I was on this page, so I wasn't watching it. But now I'm going to play it.
Initiated by a court order, the Michigan investigation team obtained forensic access to a DS200 tabulator, the machine that counts the votes. A Telit 4G wireless chip manufactured in Taiwan was discovered embedded into the motherboard. The voting machine tapes clearly indicate modem engagement and transmission of election data. Some of the anomalies that we noticed in the 2020 general elections, that 5 key states all stopped counting at a certain time in these key battleground states. These were all where the software, Dominion machines, ESNS machines were used, the Smartmatic, the GEMS software. So when the vote stopped counting, and this has been noted in other countries as well, President Trump was significantly ahead. When reporting and counting resumed, there was a massive spike occurred that favored Joe Biden.
Someone threw that in. It pissed off a few people, but yeah, but see, basically that's what happened. It's exactly what happened. And they've had many people that came in, forensic computer scientists or something, however you do that, that showed that when it went up like that, like you were seeing going, with the counting, with the amount of the votes coming in, that all of a sudden the Biden one went straight up and went across. That was impossible. They said that was like impossible. That would never happen ever. But it did that night. So I think they've got plenty of evidence to prove definitely that what happened. And many people tried to do it. But what really chats my ass, and I'm still upset about it till today, is the fact that we had a vice president, okay, Mike Pence. He had people, many states, a few states, many people from these different states with evidence, with all the stuff they had from their state saying, we have irregularities, we have things that looks like fraud. We need you not to accept our electoral college votes and send it back to the states and let the states get it, get it fixed, then send it back as soon as we get it fixed. Like that. That's all he had to do. And he had to just say, fine, send it back to the state. He had the right to do that. But the fact that he accepted all of them and didn't listen to any of those people that had legitimate reason to be there saying this isn't right, something is wrong here in our state, makes me believe that he was involved in it. And I hate to say that, and if I'm wrong, I'll apologize for it. But I don't know. He could have stopped all of it. He could have stopped all of this stuff. If he just did that, because if he'd sent it back, and each of the states came back and they said they fought themselves in their own state with their own constitution that we couldn't find fraud, we don't see this and that, and we don't think that there was cheating, and then sent the electoral college votes back, we wouldn't have any of this problem. We have all of this problem simply because he took stuff, even though these states had evidence to say that there was problems in their state, to send them back to their state. We're not going to accept them until you guys get it figured out in your state. Put it back on the state's plate and let the states deal with it first. That's all he had to do. And that just really has bothered me ever since. I have not been able to get past that, because I just really feel like, you know what I mean? I just have a really weird feeling about that. I wish that he would have done that, and then we wouldn't be where we are today. Even if the results were the same, even if the same person ended up winning, we wouldn't have any of this headache, because each state would have had to take in their own, whatever happened in their state, they'd be responsible for it instead of it being on Pence's plate. You see what I mean? It would have been that easy, but it's terrible. Don't you have anything better to do? No, apparently not. You just keep coming back over and over and over again. Why? What do I have that a million other YouTubers that actually are making money and have lots of thousands and thousands of people? Why do you have to come to my channel and do this over and over and over all night long? I don't understand. Get a life. You come and bash people because they have a different point of view than you. You don't want to listen, leave. Just don't come back. What a loser. Hi, Doc. Thank you for stopping in. I've got a whole sheet of all these people I've been harassed by tonight. It's the same person, I'm pretty sure. I'd almost bet money. It's the exact same person. It just leaves when I kick them out and goes and makes another channel. I don't know how YouTube lets them do that. I mean, you'd think that if someone's made 10 channels in one night, they had the exact same IP address, that YouTube would know that. But see, I think YouTube doesn't even care. Sad. But thank you for joining me tonight. At the end, I just played this really interesting video that shows the whole thing. And I was talking about how a whole thing about the steal, the anomaly, and how the votes were coming in, and it was this, and all of a sudden they stopped in all the states, not just in one, or something like would happen in real life. That's why they were working all together. They were all in on it. because you need a lot of people involved for it to work. Just like I said, the reason they kicked all those people, they had to kick everyone out because they couldn't have anyone in there that wasn't involved in the cheating. That's like I said, I've worked the polls in 2 different states, and we have a table of 6 people. And the people come, they ask for a ballot, and we go through this whole thing. We pass the driver's license down, we record it, blah, blah, blah. We goes down, we all write down the name, and then the last person down at the end is holding the box. So when they bring the ballot back, they put it in the box, and that person, that all they do is make sure no one touches the ballot box and adds ballots or takes ballots out or anything. It's locked until the end of the night, when all of us at this table will count the ballots that we collected in that box. And the ballots that we passed out, if we passed out 301, guess how many ballots should be in the box to count at the end of the night? 301. It's that easy. So when you have 300,000 ballots to show up out of nowhere that aren't in any book that anybody handed out, then that's pretty obvious that somebody cheated, brought them in. But if somebody at our table had taken someone's ballot that was in that box, and they walked over and they opened the ballot box and took it out and started writing on it, we would all say, hey, what are you doing? We would have stopped the person. See, that's why when you had a few people that were higher up running the place, telling everyone you have to leave, there's a leak. And well, where's the leak? It's in the bathroom. Okay, well, I would have said, get our stuff. That means I would have got our books, our paperwork, all the stuff that we swore at the beginning of the day that we would not leave unattended. I would not leave it at that table. So if I had been there and they'd done it, I would have tried to take all the stuff from the table and the ballots with me, because we took an oath to not leave this out of our sight. See what I mean? They wouldn't have been able to, I wouldn't have fit in. I would have ruined their night because I wouldn't have done it. They would have had to arrest me. And then when they arrested me and I said, hey, I took an oath that this table, the stuff at this table and what I was doing, the only time I would leave is I would call a judge over and say, I'm going to leave. I have to go to the ladies' room. So I'm not going to be in my position, which means they're supposed to like stand and watch to make sure no one messes with my documents or my paperwork or whatever. That's how it was in the 2 states that I worked the polls. It was very secure. I felt very safe. And that would never have happened. It would never have happened where I was at because there's no way they would have, oh, Doc, what are you doing? Thank you very much. I've never, I don't know what the heck's going on. It says that you are now a new member of my channel. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. This is awesome. So I've never done this before. So this is great. Thank you so much. Thank you for becoming a member. So now I have 2 members, which is Hardwick, and you are now my second member. So thank you. I appreciate it. Doc Flamingo, you're awesome. I really appreciate it. But it's just really weird, you know, that it's something. That's why I told a lot of people that were talking about all the stuff about the cheating and things like that. I told them, I said, have you ever worked the polls? And they said, no. And I said, well, sign up and work once, even in a small little election. You know, let's say they're having 2 people that are having a runoff or something. Go to your party and just tell them you want to work the polls, and they'll show you. You'll have to take a class or whatever, but you do it. But then you'll kind of understand what I'm talking about. So when you saw some of these videos that came out and you saw this one guy sitting at a table with a stack of ballots and you see him writing on all of them, that's totally legal. I mean, if we saw anything like that, the guy would have been arrested. I mean, on the spot, because that is illegal. You are never to write on anyone's ballot but your own. That's it. Not even a judge. We had judges, the actual judges from our county there, and they didn't even write on it. We had one lady, the one time that worked. I've only seen, I think I've seen 2 spoiled ballots in my whole time I've done it for, 15, 16 years. she made a mistake on her ballot. So she came back, and so we called the judge over. We all initialed the ballot. Okay, we wrote our initials on it. And then the judge initialed it. He put it in an envelope and we sealed it. Okay, and we sealed it shut, like glued it shut. And then we wrote spoiled ballot on it. And guess what we did with it? We put it in the ballot box. Okay, so at the end of the night, after we gave her another ballot, we did the same routine that we did the first time. And we wrote SB next to her first name that she had put up there, because that meant she spoiled her ballot. She actually made a mistake. So we gave her another ballot. But at the end of the night, we counted all our ballots, and guess what? They matched out. And how many ballots we passed out is how many ballots we had at the end of the night. We didn't have any extra ballots that we didn't hand out. So it's so easy to count and make sure that they're legal. I mean, it's just so easy. I don't see how anybody can make mistakes unless you kick everyone out and you put ballots in the machine over and over again with no one around, because you can only have the cheaters involved, because the people that aren't cheating are going to be going, what the hell's going on? This isn't right. That's why so many people had their phones out and were videoing, because they knew something was wrong. I wouldn't just pull my phone out and start videotaping everyone sitting at my table. When we were waiting for people, because we had lulls where there was 10 or 15 minutes where no one was even there. And we just talked about, I crocheted. I made like 3 scarves all day long, because the sun up till sundown, basically. They were not scarves. I mean, 3 little hats, and I gave them out because it was real easy to do it when you're just sitting there doing nothing. But, and it was in a little town too. It wasn't in a big precinct or anything. And the other one was parishes, because I was in New Orleans when I worked, or in Metairie. So, it's not that dissimilar from one state to another. It doesn't matter. You should never have more ballots than you have people that you handed ballots to. It's just, if you had 300,000 people that registered to vote, that came in and showed their driver's license of who they were, and you passed that about, that's 300,000 ballots. That's all you should have. So if you end up with 100,000 more ballots than you had, because even we had 2 people who mailed their ballot in early voters that were in our little precinct. So we have that on another sheet as it went through, as you passed them out. So you say we had 301 people, we would have 2 mail-in ballots, and they'd be in an envelope still. So what we would do is do the same process that we did with the other people. The person up here at the beginning, she would open the ballot, the envelope. She would take it out, and it would have their name and everything. And she would say their name, and she'd write it in the book. And then the next lady would get it, and she'd write it on a copy, so that we'd have copies to hang in the window to show who voted. And then the next person would do it for the records to keep for the courthouse. Then the ballot goes to the person that puts it in the ballot box. So still, we're going to have just the amount of ballots that we're supposed to have. So it's just, the only way to cheat is to have people. Everyone has to be involved in it. Everyone is there. So I don't know. It's very simple, I think. So that's why I tell everybody, if you get a chance, sign up to try to help out. Just so, even if you're just a watcher, at least standing around watching, you see how it works. Who's supposed to do what, and where they're supposed to be, and are they where they're supposed to be? Are they grabbing people's ballots from them? Are they, you would see things that you thought didn't seem right and be able to bring it to someone's attention. But that it just didn't happen, because I didn't see anything out of place, because everybody did what they were supposed to. So as long as people doing what they're supposed to, then you're not going to have all these hundreds of thousands of ballots extra than you're supposed to. So I don't know. I just think it's ridiculous, but they tried. A lot of people tried to get the truth out, and depending on where they live. It's just funny that it only happens in certain areas. That's another thing that makes me go, you think about it, it's like, I don't know, it just doesn't work right. But thank you for everyone for hanging out with me tonight. And I'm sorry I had to do it by myself, but Tommy is not well. He's been sick, and I haven't heard from Ruben, so I don't know how Ruben's doing. Bruce is in the middle of moving. He's not in his own place. So, there's a lot of stuff going on in, people's lives, and, I just have to make do with what I have. And plus, I can't pay anyone because I don't even make any money. So, I got a member now. Yay, I got a member. I think it's awesome. Hopefully I'll learn what any of this stuff means. But let's see. What was I going to say? Darn it. I forgot. I was trying to read something. But I don't know. Everyone has a right to their own opinion, but it doesn't give you you have the right to say whatever you want, but you don't have the right to make people have to listen to you. You see what I mean? So I can talk and talk and talk all day if I want, but that doesn't mean anybody has to listen to a word I say. And I can't get mad because I can't force people to listen to me, but that's freedom, the freedom to turn the channel. If you don't want to watch something, you don't have to. That's the good thing about being in this country. What's really sad is that the people that think that the other people, they demand the other people listen to them or admit they're true or whatever it is, they get angry because they can't force other people against their will to bend at their whim. And that's what they hate. That's what they absolutely hate about people like me, because I'm not going to bend. I believe what I believe because I was raised in the military. I'm very patriotic. I believe our soldiers should be taken care of. I don't care who they are. If they've served in this military, I don't care how old they are, what race they are, what religion they are. If they served our country, they signed the dotted line and they wore a uniform, period, they should be taken care of. If they need medical, if they need a place to live or help getting a job or whatever that is, they should come before any illegal person, period, or any other country. Just like I said, we shouldn't be sending money to any other country if we have homeless veterans, period. That's just how I believe, because we wouldn't be free right now if it wasn't for our veterans. And, I love our veterans. I think our veterans they're our backbone of our country, period. And whether they're men or women, it doesn't matter. They've all served and they deserve to be treated with respect, period. And I adore our veterans. I really do. That's right. And I also feel the same way about our paramedics and our firemen and our police officers, because what's really sad to me is when I see a police officer pull someone over and there's only one person in the car. It really scares me, because I don't think any police officer should be able to be out on patrol by themselves. I think they should all have partners and they should all have cameras, every one of them. More and more people are getting smart and putting cameras on their rearview mirrors to see out, so that they can record when someone, like if someone pulls that right in front of you and you hit them and you rear end them, well, you rear ended them because they pulled that right in front of you. Now you have evidence to prove that in court. I wouldn't judge against you if some asshole slammed on his brakes just because he wanted you to slam into him, because there are people that do that shit. So, hey, hi, Team Charlie. Thank you for dropping in. I'm just about to close up, but thank you so much for stopping. And thank you for the super chat. I love you too. And yeah, it's growing slowly, but this kind of show, the Friday Night Shit Show, isn't for everybody. It's very tough for a lot of people. I've had to kick out like 7 people tonight simply because they didn't like what I was saying, and they were being horrible. They were saying horrible things. So I mean, if they disagree with me, that's one thing. You know me, but you can't say vulgar, nasty shit. I'm just not gonna put up with that crap. But I don't have to, because if they don't like what I say, they can leave. I'm not forcing them to stay here. But hi, Tree Rock. Thank you also for stopping in. I really appreciate you. And Kronos, thank you so much. I haven't seen you in a while. I've seen you once in a while on X and stuff, but I haven't seen you there. Seen you, in the chat very often. And thank you very much, Anthony, for stopping in. I appreciate it. And Shadow and Sun, thank you. I really appreciate it. Seems to be a good call for you, or because I only have one. So I don't know what channel you're talking about unless it's yours, but that's good. If you got another channel, you said something about one's for gaming and one's for other stuff. That's awesome. But if you ever want to be a guest on my after hours show and talk about your stuff that you're doing, I'd love to have you as a guest. That would be awesome. Just let me know. Okay. But I just want to say thank you to everyone who came in and hung out. And, listen to a few things that I had my point of view on a lot of things, and a bunch of videos and things that I wanted to share about lots of different things that are going on across our country in many different states. And if we don't fight for our country, who's going to? We got to fight for our states. We got to fight for our towns. And that all together ends up fighting for our whole country. And believe me, there's more of us than there is them. There really is. It's just that it doesn't seem like that sometimes, because we seem like we're standing out all alone in your own little neighborhood, speaking your mind about something. But we can win if we just don't give up. Don't quit. We got to leave the best for our kids. We got to leave something for them, our kids and our grandchildren and our great-grandchildren, because one day we're not going to be here. It's going to be all up to them to be able to take care of themselves. So we can do that. So let's fight for what we know is right and leave something good for our kids. But I hope you guys had a wonderful night, and hope you have a wonderful weekend. And tomorrow I'll be playing Bruce's Pathfinder game. So if you want to stop in and say hi, I'd really appreciate it. But I hope you like my outro. It's going to piss off a few, I'm sure. But oh well, I have the right to do that. It's freedom of speech, and it is my show. So that's the way it goes. But I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. Talk to you later.
If you voted for Donald Trump, that means that you stand for everything that is going on in our country right now. That you stand for all these tariffs. That you stand for this mass deportation. That you stand for getting men out of women's sports. I mean, the list goes on and on. You actually stand for this. If you voted for Trump, you actually stand for this. And if you voted for Trump, I just want to say that I love you and thank you so much for saving this country. Have a blessed day.